Break ends in 5 seconds.
She can put away a large pizza by herself. He's allergic to cheese. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Dallas Cowboys say they're locked and loaded with Dak Prescott as is, ready to go into this season. If it's the final year of the deal, it's the final year of the deal. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. I think this is a mistake. Perloff, it's funny because you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll play you some sound from Jerry Jones at the owners' meetings yesterday. And you think about the amount of players that they have and the amount of people they have going into potentially last years of the deal. I mean, Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy most notably, but Jerry also making some interesting comments about CeeDee Lamb, like kind of putting the future a little bit in doubt for CD, which I think is very, very interesting, and that is sort of new. It's just wild to me that they're setting this up where it feels like this is almost a little bit of a last go-round with both Dak and McCarthy, because we'll put McCarthy to the side for a second. With Dak, I think this has such big backfire possibilities on them. Like, this could boomerang back and blow up in all of their faces.
I totally agree with you. There's two options here. One, Dak has a great year, and then he comes to the negotiating table as a pure free agent next year. Then then you could might as well say the Cowboys salary cap is doomed for an entire decade. The other option is that he's not good enough and they move on. Who's their quarterback next year?
Exactly.
Say goodbye to 12-5. Hello to 5-12. You think that I just had this argument with EJ before. There's no quarterback out there that's as good as Dak Prescott for them next year because they're not going to have the number one pick. Shedeur Sanders is not arriving in Dallas. Say it's Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
So how do they restart a quarterback? I think that the Cowboys for a long time have been straddling this line, like many teams, where they want to get younger and good, but they don't want to rebuild. So are they really ready for a full rebuild to say goodbye to Dak Prescott and who knows, CeeDee Lamb? I mean, they do. Micah Parsons they're paying. I mean, he's the crown jewel of this team. He's the one surefire superstar. So I think he'll be back. But you're right. There feels like the last dance, we're all in. Maybe that's what all in meant. We're going to go for it this year. But man, I don't understand how they get out of this in good shape. Like, what's a scenario where the Cowboys build a champion? I don't see it.
Let's hear from Jerry Jones. Again, this was from Orlando yesterday, the owners' meetings, talking about Prescott.
I'm not taking anything away from Dak wants to do any and everything he can on and off the field to help us win. We are where we are. We have our contract. We're locked and loaded for this year. And we can see as we move along how we are thinking, we inclusive of everybody here, us, Dak, and we'll see what we do.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see what we do. I guess we'll all see what you do. I mean, I can understand why, if you're a Cowboy fan, your confidence right now is at an all-time low because they keep saying, and Jerry said this yesterday, we've had good rosters the last 3 or 4 years, and now it's time to pay the fiddler. I mean, that's the last thing you want to hear when you're a team that has not cashed in on a Super Bowl with this, in this iteration of the Cowboys, or to give up that Dak will ever win a Super Bowl for you. Because again, it's painful to see on the other side. I've said this before. I said it yesterday. This is a grass is greener thing. I think you will regret messing around with Dak Prescott, who's already gotten over on you once on contract negotiations and getting over on you again. I mean, Dak might not be the perfect QB, but he rebounded from a season where he threw 15 interceptions and where, they lose again to San Francisco in the playoffs. And then he becomes an MVP candidate. And yes, they lost to Green Bay. He didn't give up the 38 points or whatever it was. I mean, your confidence level might not be high in Dak, but be wary of what's on the other side. The guy is still just 30 years old. In this day and age for quarterbacks, that's like still in your prime. You might still have another, 5-6 good years left, minimum.
Yeah, Again, I agree. We both of us do know, however, there are many Cowboys fans who are over the Dak experience, and I understand that. But here's the thing, too. Say that they play out this year. There's a gigantic cap hit. I mean, if they do a preview one, it's $60-something million. So they're not going to have cap space anyway because of the dead cap. There's nothing they can do. They're having a huge dead cap hit with Dak next year. So there's no getting rid of Dak and building a super team in Dallas, even with the star in their helmet. You would think that they could attract free agents. That's not even the case. They don't sign big free agents. That's not the way they've been operating. Yeah, I think this is. I think you're looking at some possibly losing times in Dallas. It's been a nice run here, but I don't see how this is all working. Unless Maggie, are we opening the idea that maybe they're negotiating and say, "Hey, Dak, you heard what we said in the public. Give us a team-friendly deal, or you're not coming back here." Is that possible?
I think Dak would look at Kirk Cousins and look at other free agents on the market and be like, "Okay, I'll go." I mean, maybe not Kirk Cousins this time around. Didn't get the fully guaranteed contract. It's still got a ton of money for a guy who's coming off an Achilles.
Yep.
And I think he could say, "Listen, you want me to hit the open market? Let's go. I'm the better option than Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe than an older Matthew Stafford. You want to bring me the market. Like, I'll compete against any of those guys. I'll put my resume up against any of those guys because I've proven I can be a franchise quarterback." And listen, he has the postseason poor record that he has to answer for. So does Cousins. Mm-hmm. Cousins hasn't done diddly in the postseason, and he keeps getting paid and paid and paid. So, to me, I think Dak would welcome going to the open market. I don't think that scares him. It should scare the Cowboys more than the player.
Yeah, the real problem here is not Dak. And I know, again, we are aware the Cowboys fans don't feel this way. The real problem is Jerry.
Well, yeah.
Because you said it earlier, they could have made this a more financially sensible situation a long time ago. And they keep getting stuck in this spot with Dak, which makes it impossible to team build the right way. Also, too, one thing about CD came up small in that playoff game against the Packers.
They all did.
Yeah, I mean, it was particularly CD was partly because of the coverage, but CD has not had a great postseason, so I'm not sure they have a lot of faith in him.
Okay, but here's the thing.
I agree with you. What's the better option?
He's the whole offense.
Yeah.
And what do you think he's going to be this year?
They're not going to win a Super Bowl with this core, though. That is the argument. I understand. They're not on the precipice of a Super Bowl. So I do understand the argument to get rid of them, but there has to be another way, Maggie, right? They can't be, let's go into quarterback purgatory where we're going with a number 25 overall pick next year, which isn't even a good quarterback class. That's not going to win you. Not the timeline the Cowboys fans are going to want.
No, and we just saw that some of the sports books put out over-unders, early over-unders for all the NFL teams. And here we go. The Cowboys are still high at 10.5. I mean, Vegas still expects that this is going to be a very good team, and they might. But again, how does that help you in the future? Because you said it. Either you're a good team and you end up having to pay the piper anyway with Dak Prescott, or you're, not a great team. You underachieve, and now you're starting over with somebody else, and who guarantees you that's going to work?
Right.
Wow. I mean, desperate times here. And maybe we're being alarmist. The only positive I will give the Dallas fans on this one is you do have potentially multiple people who are going into the final year of their deal. We know what contract years do for people. Maybe not for coaches, I don't know. But for players, they play great. They tend to play better in contract years. It's not a knock. I think it's human nature. However, Dak Prescott was an MVP candidate. Can he play a lot better? I thought he played fine. I mean, it wasn't perfect. But he played fine. But you do have these guys who are going into the last year of the contract. Maybe that spurns some kind of us against them, some sort of, all the pressure's off now, just grip it and rip it type of thing. Maybe that's a positive. But does that last you 17 games plus the playoffs?
I don't know. It feels like Dak's been in a contract year in some form or other the last 5 years. It doesn't feel like, it's not like an NBA where a guy's all of a sudden going to show up at the end. That argument sounds great. I wouldn't buy it if a Cowboys
Trying to give some silver linings here.
I mean, honestly, when you look at this franchise, what is the key? Obviously, you got to keep Micah Parsons happy.
Yeah,
other than that, everybody else,
Here's the thing about Micah Parsons. Amazing player.
Right.
Can be taken out. Can be schemed out of games.
But he's the only special, really, really, really special Aaron Donald type player on that team. I kind of disagree. I think I'm a little higher on Micah Parsons, and I think he's the crown jewel of this roster.
No, he is. But again, the problems they've had with the big losses, have been San Francisco, you get blown out, although I thought the defense took a little too much flack. They gave up 45 points, so obviously they stunk that day. But they weren't like, they sort of kept the Cowboys in the game. I know that sounds weird. And then against Green Bay, when they allowed, basically Aaron Jones to just run all over them. Right.
They got to me, that's it. They got to get stronger up the middle, defensive tackles, linebackers. They've had a lot of injuries on both those spots. So if they get stronger up the middle, I think Parsons is amazing. I'm not, Dan Quinn's leaving too on that defense.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
So that'll be interesting. But basically, we get down to this point. There's no out here. What's the Super Bowl strategy, Maggie? Give me something here.
I just gave it to you. I gave you final year of the contract. I don't know.
That's the best you got is the final year of the contract. Have? No, I don't. That's the thing. I think that they are not built to win a Super Bowl, and I don't think that's going to change in the next 3 years. I think this Dak Prescott thing is going to blow up in their face. I think he'll probably have a good year, and they'll sit at the free agency table next year with him, and it's going to be a disaster. We're talking $65 million a year because you said Cousins was coming off an Achilles tear and made that much money. I think they're going to doom their cap for the rest of eternity if Dak has a good season, which I think he will.
I mean, Dak going to free agency, he'd be like, make my day. I mean, why not? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I think confidence is an all-time low with the Cowboy fans. We have Cowboy fans who call this show who don't feel great about the team. And every time Jerry talks into a microphone, I feel worse about what's going on. And I know he's a character. I know. That's every day.
Hold on. He just spoke into a microphone. You feel worse?
It's tough. It makes me feel bad for Cowboy fans because the messaging is all off, and they say they have a plan, but where is it?
This could be 2009, 2013, 2017. Jerry says a lot of words. They don't always mean anything. I mean, they started off this offseason with the biggest lie that we are all in. It's clearly not true. Maybe locked and loaded is the new all in.
It's the new all in. We've turned from all in to locked and loaded.
Yeah.
Okay. I think all these things are just trying to placate and string along a fan base. And I've always said this and I've maintained it that I always think Jerry just wants to keep the carrot out there for you guys. He doesn't actually care about the Lombardi. And I think I've been proven right in many ways this offseason.
But if that was true, he would re-sign Dak right now. I think if they know they can be good with Dak. I think that he is actually doing something to let Dak hit free agency means, we need playoff success. So maybe that counters your argument, which is a good one. And I know you're not alone, that the Cowboys just want to be good, not win a Super Bowl.
They just want to be relevant.
Well, they know they could re-sign Dak and be relevant for a long time, but it feels like maybe this is this locked and loaded 1 year in with Dak is a we need bigger goals kind of statement. Possible? Is it possible that I can't believe that Jerry Jones doesn't want to win a Super Bowl with every fiber in his being. I just can't buy that.
How about our pal Andrew Kaplan hanging out in the chat? YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, Twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. Perloff and I are again matching. How does this keep happening?
Nah, I mean, not really.
We're both wearing Navy.
I don't know if this is matching.
Look at it on the stream.
Okay.
we're side by side. It looks like we are matching. Dak to the Giants next year. I'm telling you, you could be Dak to the next year. There's going to be a lot of teams. He would be the top of the list in terms of who's available if he does go to free agency.
Well, for now. Because, you know my theory that Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the free agency market again next year. This is the trend now. There's going to be a lot of guys. It's funny because you mentioned Atlanta. I could see Atlanta, who just signed Kirk Cousins. That feels like a great Dak landing
He might have to wait a minute for that.
So we need a new Atlanta for him next year. I think if I'm Dak's agent, I'll tell you what I would do, by the way. If I'm Dak's agent, I take a team-friendly deal. What do you need this money for? I would say, hey, I see Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes signing free agent, team-friendly. Take $45 million and spread it out so you could have talent around you. I don't know. Dak playing hardball, he's part of the problem as well.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, busy day, fun day. It's a great debate Wednesday around here, so we will do that at the 8 o'clock Eastern hour. We still have March Madness one-hit-wonders brackets to update for you as well. And we had a heck of a game last night between the Lakers and the Bucks. We'll get into the double overtime, and Anthony Davis really coming through for LA. We'll get to all that next. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We're all locked into the Lakers-Bucks last night. Double overtime. No LeBronJames for the Lakers. And Lakers trailing by 12 in the fourth quarter, Perloff. They end up, and with about 7.5 minutes to go, they were still trailing by double figures. Bucks not able to close the Lakers out. Lakers make it a game. Anthony Davis, phenomenal. And they go to double OT and they win I would say it's must win, but the Lakers are fighting here for the playoffs with about 10 games to go now. And this was a huge win for them last night.
So what I'm hearing is Lakers better without LeBron? Is that where we're going with this?
Actually, 6-4, I think, without LeBron.
But they've won recently. It is interesting. I think this is a new Anthony Davis in the sense that he feels like he's the MVP, finally, not LeBron. So that's promising to me in a sense. I mean, we've been flirting with this idea. Is it, though? Why not? I mean,
he's never been consistent.
Yeah, but he's never played 52 minutes in a game, and he did that last night. That was crazy. And he had a banged up knee, and he was still hurt, and he played out there. Maybe this is a new Anthony Davis. Why not? He's getting older. Maybe he's matured into he's already won a championship, ironically, but maybe he's matured into a 1A on a real contender. I can buy that a little bit.
Well, do you think he's playing tonight against Memphis?
Well, listen, it's the NBA. That's a back-to-back.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't think so, but it's still pretty incredible that I never would have thought Anthony Davis would be playing 50-plus minutes in a game. I think this is a really good sign for the Lakers.
Well, it also, they kind of had no choice because once you get into the first, you come all the way back in the fourth quarter, then you get in the first OT, and you can't close them out in the first OT. You got to play him in the second OT. I mean, these minutes start racking up, not because Darvin Ham wants to have Anthony Davis out there for 50-plus minutes.
Right, but I think he still played more than anybody else in the game. Again, in the past, we would have expected him to be limping by the third quarter now, that game,
that's true.
Let alone playing 52 minutes. I hope it's another Anthony Davis because I want it on record. I did, after the All-Star break, say the Lakers are going to be the real threat in the West, and I still believe this. I don't care where they are in the play-in. I'm telling you, that is an old team. Austin Reeves is finally playing like I expected him to coming into the season.
Big dagger,
They're super dangerous.
Night.
They have one major flaw to me, that's D'Angelo Russell. But once LeBron comes back, they can sort of de-emphasize how much he has to do for the team. This is a really good team. They will beat up smaller teams in the playoffs because they're big. I think this Lakers team is coming.
Got to 40 wins last night, so 40-32. They're in 9th place in the Western Conference standing. They've won 4 in a row. This is the one team I really don't want to see in the first round if I'm a younger team. If it's the Denver Nuggets, good night. If it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, I don't know. And maybe I'm being a little like ageist or whatever or biased because the Oklahoma City Thunder are just so young, or like the Minnesota Timberwolves just don't have a lot of experience, more than OKC, obviously, in the playoffs. But I think going up against one of those two teams, if they get to the top spot in the Western Conference, that's good news for the Lakers. I think they can use their sort of their experience. And if it's the Clippers, I don't know.
You just have to. The whole key to the West playoffs is avoid the Denver side.
Right.
So if Denver's won, you don't want to be in the 4-5. My Pelicans, unfortunately, have a collision course with the Nuggets.
Yep.
You don't. So you definitely do not want to see the Nuggets. Other than that, you definitely, if you're the Lakers, you're dying to see the T-Wolves, and you're very excited to see the Thunder. Look at the play-in. The play-in teams are crazy. It's Golden State, Lakers, Phoenix, Sacramento, and Dallas are flip-flopping. Those are really, really good teams, and a lot of them are playoff tests. You think those teams, those young teams, want to see Domantas Sabonis in the postseason? I think the standings are irrelevant in the West. I think all these old teams are going to be right there. Mark my words. Watch the Thunder go to the finals. But no,
clip that.
I think any of these old teams could face the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. Especially the Lakers, because they're so big, and once they beat them in a 4 games, beat them 4 times, beat LeBron and Anthony Davis If you're not Jokic, I don't see it happening.
There's another part. There's a flip side of this on the Milwaukee side, too. Just spare a thought for them for a second. I mean, they're the second seed right now in the East. This game is not going to matter a lot in the long run. But you did have a 19-point lead. You have no LeBron James. You have your healthy guys, Giannis and Dame. You had a chance for Dame time. End of regulation, he ends up missing the shot. And then in overtime, Giannis missed 2 crucial free throws. Probably didn't have his legs under him at that point because he played so much. I mean, that was a tough night for Milwaukee where you feel like you've got a team on the ropes and you couldn't close them out.
I mean, look at the sideline. Who's your coach?
Can't blame Doc for everything. I was actually wondering how he was going to spin this one.
If it's Game 7 against the Celtics, do you have any faith in their coach? Come on. I think the Bucks are a really good team, but I think it's a nervous time for Bucks fans. Do you really look at Doc Rivers and where this team is and say, oh my God, we're going to beat Boston in the East? I'm not hearing a lot of that.
Well, Mr. NBA is here, Andrew Bogish, fresh off the charter flight. He's been in Milwaukee. He just saw them up close and personal with the Nets.
Doc sends his regards, by the way. He misses you.
Love Doc. Yeah. Great guy.
You should.
Sucks.
19-point fourth quarter lead is like a 3-1 series lead.
So it had that feeling.
Yeah.
It had that feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, why are Damian Lillard and Giannis, who are Giannis is young, suck and win at the end of the game at home, and the Lakers had all this energy? Come on, Giannis.
Well, they've been treating a lot of this season like it's a summer camp. Like, I'm being real. Like the Bucks. I know you guys are excited about the Lakers, and you guys have been excited about the Lakers. I'm a little still tempered on them. I think this is more about the Bucks. Like, that's a game, and I would say that they do kind of need to win these games. Like, I don't think you want to be 3, which is possible still in the standings, and you're going to have to go to a road game in the second round potentially. Doc
Rivers has never cared about that with veteran teams. Look what he did with the Celtics when he was there. They could give a crap about home field advantage.
And I think this is going to hurt this team. I think it's hurt them in the past, even when they had Budenholzer, because they lost to the Celtics in a Game 7 on the road because they, again, didn't take the regular season as seriously as they needed to. This was an awful loss for the Bucks. The Lakers look great, but I still wonder, with the stretch they're going to have to go through to make sure they avoid missing the playoffs, will you have the legs in a first-round matchup against – I'm not as crazy about the T-Wolves, I keep saying that, but if you're against the Thunder, a young team that's firing on all cylinders, that's going to have fresh legs, will you have enough legs to be a team like that in 7 games? That, I think, it'd be a hell of a series, but I don't think it'd be a gimme.
We're burying the lead here. I think we get another LeBron, JJ Redick podcast today.
Oh God.
Pete.
Oh, woof.
This is if you designed a podcast in a lab to tick off Pete Bellotti, it would be LeBron James, JJ Redick drinking expensive bottles of wine together.
And messing up with WWE. That would be the only other thing they could add to that is just if they were sitting there just dumping on WWE.
That's right.
LeBron loves the wrestling, though, so he wouldn't do that.
That's the only thing he and Pete have in common. This podcast was designed to annoy our boss and Pete. Our boss, Spike Eskin, not a fan of JJ Redick or LeBron for that matter.
Who cares about what they have to say about the NBA? Really, I'm really tired of it.
Who cares what LeBron has to say about basketball?
I really don't care. Look, go play and leave me alone. And JJ Redick, I've had enough of him. I said I would listen to the podcast if they were talking about other things. If they were talking about non-NBA topics, I'd be really into it. If they're talking about football, if they were talking about the deficit or talking about something else, I'll be into it.
Wait. Oh, yeah, because you want LeBron on politics?
Actually,
you want that podcast?
I take that back.
Okay, thank you.
I think, Pete, we should come up with your, if you gave them a rundown, that's what producers do, right? You give a rundown, or you work on a rundown with the talent. So if you had the top 5 topics, can you work on this maybe over the next couple hours?
I'll give you a couple. I'll give you 3 shows that they could do. three 30-minute shows they could do, and I'll give you a rundown for each one of them.
I want to see what would be on the rundown if Pete Bellotti was producing the LeBron James, JJ Redick podcast.
Did you get to bring on Kevin Hart like The Shop? Do you get a funny person?
All right, yes. On one of the shows, I'll give you a funny person.
Get one guest, and you have to name the guest.
Yes.
Not Don Rickles.
And The Rock doesn't count because The Rock's already assumed that'll be there. That's just like furniture on any kind of show right now.
Yeah. The Rock and his fake dinosaurs.
Yeah. The Rock will be there, obviously. We'll just not even count that.
All right. We've got an assignment for today. Bogish has headlines, Lou.
It's all sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. Lakers.
Give a little love into your body, Macarena.
Lakers.
Because your body's made for love and feeling good. It's a no-brainer.
Pierre Schwartz would 100% be the update guy on LeBron and JJ Redick's
Not on my
non-basketball
rundown.
podcast.
not when Pete's running the show.
Lakers Bucks provided almost all of the drama in the NBA last night. The Thunder and Pearl's Pelicans gave us some, with OKC throwing away an 88-68 lead and then rallying late.
Left wing Dort open, strokes a three for the lead that's online, and in there, Cha-ching, a Thunder money ball, oh baby! Thunder 115, the Pelicans 112, a minute 1 to play. The building is silent.
Matt Pinto on Thunder Radio.
Bogus, you're going to use that call? What? I don't even know what he just said. What?
Cha-ching, a Thunder money ball?
Oh, okay, is that a thing for him?
That's trademarked. I probably just got
You need one of those.
$5 now.
You need one of those, a cha-ching, a money ball? That's great.
He didn't say Chumbawamba? That's what I thought he said.
Chumbawamba.
Now, Chumbawamba might be free, so let me mark that one down for next time.
Chumbawamba got upset in our March Madness bracket of one-hit wonders.
They did.
Ridiculous.
The Pelicans don't need a call like that because CJ McCollum cannot hit a shot or the ocean with his jumper, so they're fine.
Oh, my gosh.
Mike Breen way off.
Yeah, CJ McCollum, EJ's favorite player because he lived in the Lehigh Valley where he's from.
He didn't live there. He went to school there. And
Whatever.
I saw him on a bus randomly going to the Lehigh Valley, which was really cool.
Yeah. Now it'd be nice if he stepped up and played well. All right,
That
go ahead.
story's not
Big
cool for
player.
CJ.
Wait, are you angry
Yes.
as a fake Pelicans fan at CJ
Oh, you're a
McCollum?
Pistons
Yes,
fan. Yeah,
I'm
what is
hugely
this?
angry. I mean, the Pistons. Listen, my Pistons are going to be there in 3 years. I'm going to the
The bus
parade.
station
I'm
in
going to
Lehigh
the
Valley?
parade in Auburn Hills or wherever they play. I'm going to the parade in Rochester,
Not
Michigan.
Auburn
home of-
Say hi to Jack Golke. He's probably going to be in year 10 of eligibility playing.
You
at
know,
Oakland.
I'm a legit Zion Williamson fan, so that's something. I mean, that's not fake. You saying I'm a fake Pelicans fan?
Well, I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to be angry at CJ McCollum on a Wednesday morning in late March because he didn't shoot well against the whoever they played last night, Thunder.
Moneyball, Thunderball.
Ka-ching. 119-112 was the final in that one. OKC scoring the final 12 points of the night. One of their Jalen Williams scored 26 points, 24 and 8 assists from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Warriors rolling through Miami, 113-92 with Klay Thompson scoring 28. And the Mavs hammered the Kings in Sacramento, 132-96 to break their tie for 6th out west. That's 5 in a row for Dallas. Luka had 28 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists. Kentucky confirming last night that John Calipari is keeping his job despite another disappointing tournament, this time losing to Jack Golke in Oakland. Cal's $33 million buyout might have been the deciding factor in keeping that job. NFL owners did some TV business yesterday. They confirmed that Amazon Prime's getting a wild card game next postseason. That Eagles game in Brazil will be on Peacock, and we're getting a Christmas Day doubleheader. The league had initially said it was staying away from Christmas since it lands on a Wednesday this year, but then they remembered they're the NFL and they can do whatever they want.
See, that's another thing. That game on Peacock in Brazil, you could have LeBron and JJ Redick call that game. That could be another version of their podcast because no one's gonna be watching that Brazil game.
Perloff's going to have to find a way.
The Peacock game was it the playoff game? Did
Yeah.
really well. And they had a report, who knows if it's true, that 71% of the people who signed up stayed with Peacock after that game, which I don't think they should put out because a lot of people probably realize, oh man, I still have that Peacock subscription. I got to get rid of that.
I was going to say 40% of people who saw that story immediately canceled their Peacock because they remembered. But
Yes.
the game where the Bills played the Chargers was not great for them on Peacock, I heard.
Well, yeah.
That was an exclusive. It was at the end of the year. Easton Stick playing against the Bills. I mean, the Bills were in must-win mode as they were for most of the end of the year.
Right, but that was an injury-laden game. This week one, I think they could do really well because the game will mean a lot. I think the Eagles draw pretty well. Yeah, I mean, the Brazil part, I don't even know. Does it matter on TV where the game is played?
Probably not. I mean, I
Just
always
a
thought that
field.
the lighting in London looked
It's
really
weird, right?
wonky.
Yeah, it's not as good.
Yeah, it always looks like a soccer match. It's weird. It has a certain almost filter on it. I don't know what.
I think
they're
it's where the
doing.
cameras are placed because
Maybe.
I think the soccer cameras are probably higher up. You're right. You could tell at a London game without having to see the field. Of course, you guys, you're going to have to watch this. Friday night's not a good viewing night. Are we all in on this game? We're going to have a little party maybe. Why don't we all get together and watch the Peacock Eagles-Bucks game?
The Friday of Labor Day weekend at Perloff Palace, watching Eagles on Peacock.
It's got to be after Labor Day weekend, right?
I thought it was Labor Day weekend.
Is it Labor Day
Oh, no,
week-
it is. You're right. It's the Friday after Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll all come to Brooklyn. I'm sure, Maggie, you'd love to hang out not go home on a Friday night in September to watch me cheer on the Eagles?
What I would love to do is get off the air at 10 a.m. and hang around all day until the kickoff is at, what time is the game?
It's that night. The time difference is not that significant.
It's definitely a night game, I think.
Yeah, right. It's got to be kickoff at 8. No, I would love to. I know you're being facetious. I'd love to. But you know what's going to happen is I'm going to get caught up hanging out with your daughters. And I'm going to miss most of the game and your wife.
They could care less about the game. What's the opening? They haven't announced who the Chiefs are playing yet, have they?
No. And they haven't confirmed who the Eagles are playing, although it is the Browns, right? Didn't somebody on Cleveland say they were playing in Brazil?
I thought that might have been confirmed.
Yeah. I don't know if it was confirmed, but it was put out to the Browns of the team.
I mean, if you're going to play a game in Brazil, you got to reignite that Eagles-Browns rivalry.
Let's say, how many people in Brazil have heard of Cleveland? Not even so much about Philly. Is there a big Cleveland-Brazil connection?
Well, isn't Odell like the most popular international player? Every time you go to a London game, everyone's wearing Beckham jerseys because maybe they think it's David Beckham. I don't even know why. But either way, and he was a Brown for a year, so maybe
he's a soccer fan. So maybe maybe he's done some deals with soccer.
Yeah, you never know what the overseas team fans like. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna. I'll make cheesesteaks. It'll be really fun. It'll be a Philly themed party.
Wait,
Bilatti's face just went down.
Hold on. You realize that if you're going to invite us all over, you've got to get Peacock.
Oh well, that's a bridge too far.
You know what? You can use my login that night.
Yeah.
That was my contribution to the party.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
So
I'll wear my Phillies socks from
this is gonna be great.
Oh, from our Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bilotti, you looked a little sad when I said it was going to be a Philly theme.
I don't like Philly.
It's going to be great if the Mets and Phillies are also, it's going to be right in September, right when things are heating up.
To be fair, it could also be a Cleveland theme. I don't know what that would consist of.
No, see, this is my
losing.
Philly.
Lots of losing.
Yeah, but Philly has a lot of delicious food. It's one of my problems with the city. It's a great city, except for it being Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I wish you could move it, rename it. But cheesesteaks, great. Those twisted pretzels, great.
Yeah, if you think of the food, if Maggie had a Bills party, you would obviously have wings. Is really good. But I think Philly has better food than the Bills. And you guys are New York fans, and there's not great food at the stadium there. I don't know what's a Jets Giants food.
Crap. It's all terrible.
Yeah, they're not great at food. I think I have the best party here. I think it's going to be fun. Friday night, Brazil. We'll bring our vuvuzelas. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, no. I can't even hear the game now.
That's going to be great for your neighbors. But Brazil really has the best. If we're talking about Brazilian steakhouse, they kind of slam dunk.
Churrasco, is that called, or what? What's that called?
Churrascaria?
Where they cut the meat in front of you. I love those places.
I know.
Oh, I like where you go with that one.
Just hire Fogo de Chao.
I was going to say, do they cater?
Yeah, they're going to just set up a steak, thing right in the middle of your living room.
Slabs of meat all over the place.
By the way, they're putting one in the mall near me. I've never been to a Fogo de Chao. I've been to other Brazilian steakhouses. So this one's about to be
Audible.
Striking distance.
Audible, forget Perloff House. We're going to Fogo de Chao to watch the opener. Who's
I think we
should.
should.
For that.
I like it better.
I'll say this. Do not go to Fogo de Chao after you go to the Preakness.
Oh,
okay. I'll sit back and listen.
I went to one. I had a bachelor party for my cousin, and the first thing was going to the Preakness.
Right, where you start drinking around 6 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you go with that to Fogo de Chao, and we all had our heads on the tables.
But you weren't in the toilets.
No,
just
somewhere.
asleep.
Somewhere.
It wasn't like that scene in Bridesmaids where Kristen Wiig, they had some bad Mexican food and ended up in the bathroom together.
A couple of people were unconscious.
No.
Oh, unconscious.
Unconscious at Fogo de Chao.
For the meat
I'm
sweats.
sure the restaurant loved that.
Are you banned at Fogo de Chao? Are we going to have a problem if we go?
Yeah.
That was the last time I was at Fogo de Chao.
Your picture's probably up in the back. Maybe we should go to Perloff's
Probably
house.
got that facial recognition that's happening over at MSG.
That was at the Inner Harbor over there in Baltimore.
Well, I'm sure they've got a list that they share with each other nationwide.
Sure.
What a specific warning. Don't go to a major horse race
But he
and
also
then a Brazilian steakhouse.
He said it like everyone knows that rule. Like everyone knows you don't go to a Fogo de Chao after the Preakness.
Yeah, after the second crown, the second jewel of the Triple Crown, you never go to a Fogo de Chao.
Belmont's fine, but not the Preakness.
This is things that LeBron and JJ can talk about on the show. Like Fogo de Chao, going to the Preakness, stuff like that.
Today's topic, before or after the Preakness.
Right, the
Fogo de
sweats.
Chao.
It's like
sweats.
the rundown is liquor before beer in the clear.
Right.
Beer before liquor makes you sicker.
Yeah.
I mean,
things that
do you guys remember in one of Pete's books, his rules to life? Number 2 was don't go to Fogo de Chao after the Preakness.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. First one is breathe. Second one is that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you go to Olive Garden after the Belmont, you're asking for trouble.
What's the drink of the Preakness? Like, I know Kentucky Derby is obviously the juleps. What were you drinking in the Preakness?
That day was beer.
Okay.
Some type of beer. I
I've
don't
heard of
remember
it.
what, but it was free, and we had a bunch of it.
Those famous Baltimore beers.
Apparently, the Black Eyed Susan is the drink of.
Oh, what's in it?
It's hard. It doesn't say here, and it's a very quick thing.
All right.
Not low-fat milk. I'll say that.
Can I go with one more audible? Since it goes from Perloff House to Fogo de Chao. Let's go to the Kentucky Derby. I've never been.
Great.
Let's dress up like the Patriots and go to the Kentucky Derby. Never been to one.
I would have bet you had with Dan.
Yeah, because we were on NBC. They invited us, but for some reason it never happened. Dan's been to all those. I've never been to that kind of horse race. I've been to the Belmont, which was fine. But yeah, I don't.
That's a fair assessment.
I want to go to the Kentucky Derby.
He's like searching for the words like a professional writer. He's like, it is fine.
Yeah, I think Kentucky Derby, then afterwards, we avoid any large chain restaurants, and we're going to be fine. You got to admit, this all sounds more fun than going to my house on a Friday night.
I just love
Sounds
to know
more expensive.
what's the plan for the Kentucky Derby? Like, how we getting there?
Hats.
Okay, hats.
No, you start with the hats and
Figure the rest out.
Yeah, white sports coats. I mean, if we get the outfits, the rest will fall into place.
Okay.
I was
Maggie.
going to dress like Lincoln, like with a big top hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete's gonna go like
need
everyone's wearing spring colors, and why is he wearing a black suit and a top hat?
Perloff has a seersucker suit he's been dying to break out.
I don't have one, but I've always wanted one so badly. I see Tom Brady and the crew showing up in seersucker and
It's like dropping MDMA. It's going to be great.
oh well, that part I will not do. But
was that Wes Welker?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Why is that one guy dressed like the Monopoly man over there? Oh, that's Bilotti.
Do not pass go.
Where'd you find a monocle?
Why do you keep sending people to jail?
See?
You're not a cop.
Why did the Monopoly man just tell me to avoid Fogo de Chao after the race?
Why did the Monopoly man just corner me
to
and talk for the
jail. Go to
last 20
jail.
minutes? All right. Well,
The last big name.
Buy a house.
The last big name baseball free agent finally has a deal. Reportedly, lefty Jordan Montgomery going to Arizona. He'll get $25 million for the coming season, holds a vesting option for 2025. That can be worth another $25 million if Montgomery makes 23 starts. And ESPN says Shohei Ohtani's camp continues to deny its request for any confirmation that they have reported their theft allegations against Ippei Mizuhara to any authorities. Guys, back to you.
yeah, I want to talk about that more. Let's do that after the break. Shohei Ohtani, as you just heard from Bogish, his representative said, we want the authorities to look into this. Which authorities? We're not telling you. 855-212-4CBS. Nothing weird about that. 855-212-4227. We get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Okay, so we touched on a little bit before we went into the break, but this is just an update on the Shohei Ohtani story, Perloff, and you had brought this to my attention that more investigation from ESPN. Now, we got the press conference from Ohtani. Was that yesterday? What day is it? Was that yesterday or 2 days ago? Is that Monday?
It must have been 2 days ago because we talked about it on yesterday's show.
Yeah, whatever. So this week, we got Ohtani at his press conference, and he laid it out that he is the victim in all of this, and that his translator Ipe Mizuhara was stealing from him, was lying to him, to the Dodgers, to everybody, and that he is the central figure in this. Now, the lawyers for Ohtani came out big time and talked really tough, like, we are getting authorities to investigate this $4.5 million of theft from our client. ESPN is reporting that not only have Shohei's representative declined again to answer questions about which authorities they've contacted, but that ESPN contacted many of the local and federal, like the likely places you would go if you were reporting this kind of theft, and that none of them would confirm that Ohtani's people have reached out at all.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. To me, can you say that this means that they're guilty in any way?
No, I'm just saying it's
sounds like that's what you're saying.
No,
that certainly is what ESPN is saying.
Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying there's, as far as the unanswered questions that we still have about this, I think that they're acting, and you want to act like this is so serious, and you are the victim of this $4.5 million of theft, and you are at the center of this massive, manipulation that your interpreter was putting you through. You said you're going to contact the authorities. Why haven't you done it? And until some of the questions like that, like how did Ipe have the bank accounts, until some of those questions get answered, some people are going to believe Ohtani, and some people are still going to be skeptical about his story. So, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think ESPN's saying you're full of crap to Shohei's people, and they're honest, which is good. I want this story to be reported really well because you know what's going to happen. Ohtani's camp is going to claim there's something's lost in translation. That's clearly, and maybe there will be something lost in translation, but you know what? I think this is where we differ on the story. I was willing to believe Shohei Ohtani yesterday. Yeah. I think he was clueless and did not know what was happening. And I think there are a lot of people think of that's ridiculous. That's a lot of money. Why would you give this guy the benefit of the doubt? I just think that he had other things going on. I don't know. I think that he trusted his interpreter 100%. And I think it's very plausible this interpreter had access to his computer and his funds. I mean, because he speaks for him. So I'm still in the camp that I'm not ready to really cast doubt on Shohei's story. I believed him, and I feel like an idiot because I never believe anybody in a press conference.
Right, that he's the innocent bystander in all this who was being taken advantage of. And, to me, why I can't jump all the way in there with you is because this story from the very beginning has been spin on top of spin on top of spin on top of spin.
Has it, though?
Yes.
But they didn't do any spin. They let the guy talk to ESPN. There was no spin in that. That's the opposite of spin. They tried to.
And then what happened the moment that after he got off the phone with the ESPN
Then
reporters,
they started spinning, but they certainly started off the story with no spin, and that's when their problems started.
Actually, the first spin was Mizuhara's spin on the story. Him saying that Shohei was being a good friend and helping me out of these gambling debts and was the one who was at the computer giving the $500,000 wire transfers. That was maybe the first spin. Then the second spin was disavowing that and doing a full turn. And then the next spin is Ohtani's people. And now again, it's just, I feel like I'm being fed so much BS here. That's why I'm still skeptical, because nothing about this has been straightforward from the beginning. And it's a big story, and I just feel like I'm not closer to getting the truth. I'm closer to getting people's versions of it, but I don't feel like we're closer to the truth.
But here's the only way that Shohei will get in real trouble. If he is a gambling addict who lost $4.5 million, there has to be evidence of this somewhere. There has to be somebody besides these wire transfers. There has to be more. There has to be somebody who's like, oh, Shohei bet on a horse race with me. There's got to be something.
See, that's not the only way he gets in trouble.
But he said he never bet on sports. He just put out there, I've never bet on sports. I know nothing about sports betting. Why would you make that up knowing that there's 1,000 ways to prove that's not true?
No, that's not the only way he could be in trouble here. And the other way he could be in trouble is if he did authorize those $500,000 wire transfers. Let's say it turns out that Ipe Mizuhara did bet on baseball. Say he bet on the Angels. I mean, if this guy is the degenerate gambler and he's getting himself into a hole, I think a desperate person would do a lot of things. And so if it turns out that Ohtani was the one who was covering for a friend and covering gambling losses for somebody who bet on baseball, I think Ohtani's in trouble there.
Yeah, but don't you think that's a way different degree of trouble? I think, maybe he'll have some short-term trouble, but I think Ohtani's legacy remains intact if it turns out he was covering for Ipe's bets. Sure. As long as Ohtani didn't make the bets, I think he's okay. You're right, he technically would be in trouble and maybe get a suspension, but it's a much different thing. If it turns out Shohei himself was betting on sports, that's bad. If it turns out he was betting on baseball, he's banned probably indefinitely. I mean, I don't know if banned for life, is that too strong a word? But if he's just helping out a friend in debt, what is it? Maybe they suspend him for 15, 30 days. That's not a big deal. I think it's legacy. The thing is, we'll look at Shohei and say, I can understand helping a friend. As long as Shohei didn't place the bets, I think he's okay. Is this a big blow to Shohei's legacy here?
Well, if it was a 15 or 30 game suspension, then, and that's what you think it might be.
If he was helping out to cover another guy's betting,
then whoever is around him is giving him the worst advice possible.
Why is that?
Because you would take that medicine and come clean and be truthful about it, as opposed to coming out and saying, I didn't know, I'm the victim of theft. Like, he went so far the other way. If this was actually him just covering for a friend, and his people could back channel the baseball, like, what kind of suspension we be looking at? This is the facts.
Well,
then
what
he should
about-
have just said I was being a good friend.
what if? Yeah, but it's also very possible that he was being swindled by this guy. So why would he come out and say that if it's not true? He might be the victim. That's what I'm saying. He could be telling the truth here, Maggie. Sometimes people tell the truth.
855-212-4CBS. Lots more to do, including big question about the Golden State Warriors. They missed the playoffs.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She once fell off a ski lift. He was called in for questioning. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Well, congrats to the Golden State Warriors. They win last night in Miami. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. But it felt like more of a reprieve almost, like an exhale for a Warriors team that is so dangerously close to just missing the entire playoffs, play-in, all of it completely, Perloff, which would be a shock considering I think we thought that after the Warriors won the title 2 years ago, they were going to be able, to extend this sort of late prime of Steph Curry, and that is not looking like the case.
I think they got lucky 2 years ago.
Wow.
I think the rest of the West was not quite ready, and now there's just way too many contenders. Even if they make it in as the number 10, and then it'd be great if they play the Lakers. Oh my God. I see this team as completely non-dangerous in the postseason, which is crazy to say about a Steph Curry team. You know, they did beat Miami, but they've been losing a lot lately, and there's really no excuse. They have their guys. This team, as constituted, first of all, they're small. That's obvious. That's a big problem. But I just think, I don't know if it's age taking its toll. I don't know if it's chemistry. I don't know if it's Chris Paul is not what they thought he was going to be, and he's showing his age. They're just not a dangerous team to me in any way.
I mean, if this was all really leaning and balancing on Chris Paul, I think that's flawed to begin with, because then you're asking another older player who has been inconsistent over the last couple of years to magically find something that you're seeing what you want to see there. And I think that's what's been going on with the Warriors. It's like the older players have not been consistent. You're talking about Clay, you're talking about Draymond. I mean, Curry's still Curry. And then the younger players are still proving that they're just not as ready, I think, as we thought they were going to be. I thought this was going to be Last Dance vibes. I thought they were going to put it all together and sort of last hurrah. And instead, they gave Steve Kerr this massive extension, and they gave Draymond a lot of money to stick around. I don't understand. If they miss the playoffs now, I mean, what does this look like next year? Like, if you don't think they have a run in them, and I don't either, what kind of changes? Like, can you still win and get one more title out of this Curry team?
No way. I mean, Kuminga's actually playing really well right now, but even so, there's not enough firepower there. If they don't win this year, which I don't think they are, they're the 10 seed right now.
Yeah, and Houston is gaining on them fast.
No, I can't see the scenario where they're going to get a player. Honestly, this is not really their fault, but I think they needed to reload in that Jonathan Wiseman draft and build another contender there, and he didn't turn out to be a great player. They took number 2 overall. I just don't see the cavalry coming, and I think Curry's going to play out the rest of his career there without another title. Does that sound premature? I just don't see. I mean, you obviously have so many good teams in the West. You have Denver is already at the top, and Minnesota and Oklahoma City and the Pels and all these young teams who are building really strong teams. I do not see the Warriors getting to the finals again with Steph Curry.
There's another part of this, too. And again, they won last night in Miami, so you want to, coming off of a win, but this conversation still deserves to be had and still has merit, even if they beat a shorthanded Miami Heat team last night, which is they look exhausted, don't they? I mean, think about how the beginning of the year started also with Draymond Green having to, leave the team for over a month because he had to, get some counseling and get some help. It just feels, and he came back, and to his credit, has been fine, but it just feels exhausting. Like it does feel like the end.
I think I differ a little bit. I think their personnel is not that good. I just don't think they're built like a great team. You could afford to be small 2 years ago. You really can't. Look at these playoffs. You're going to have to go up against Anthony Davis in the play-in, and then if you get past that, you're going to have Kevin Durant, and then eventually you're going to have Jokic. I just don't see the Warriors be able to beat a tall team like that. So exhaustion, chemistry problems, whatever. I just don't think they have the firepower. Clay's actually doing really well.
Last night he played well.
He's been actually the second half of the season. He's been kind of like Clay again. So I think that it's just this style that they play worked for many, many years. But if you just sort of take 10% away from these outside players, I mean, they're going to get killed in the paint in the playoffs. Draymond talks a big game, and there's just no way he's going to be able to handle the Jokic or the Jokic's of the world.
The other part is, the antics are coming back. I mean,
last night he had a pretty hard foul.
I'm just saying, I know that he had to get counseling and things like that, but you've seen other players he hasn't changed anything, right? It doesn't feel like he's changed a lot. This was one thing that stood out to me that Steve Kerr said. Now, this was after their loss the other night against Minnesota. And Steve Kerr was talking about Curry and how they kind of staggered his minutes a little bit more. I think he sat for a 5-minute stretch in the third quarter. And Kerr, think about this, noted that Curry has gone through a lot in recent weeks, from his all-star duties to his 3-game absence after tweaking his ankle to a 35-minute stint Friday against the Pacers. The Warriors do put a lot of weight on the 36-year-old shoulders. I'm reading that from The Athletic. The All-Star festivities? I mean, this sounds like something you would say about the Eagles still having a Super Bowl hangover because, the
dry heat.
The dry heat in Arizona somehow affected them in the next November. The All-Star festivities?
That sounds like an excuse.
Yes, it does. It sounds ridiculous. And it sounds like you're grasping. And it just sounds like, again, when I say they sound exhausted, these are weird excuses.
I don't know if you have the talent to even win this thing. I don't know. We were discussing before, how did they win it 2 years ago? I look back at that team. They're going to feel like a one-off champion.
But that's not fair because they had a dynasty.
Yeah. No, this is a great team. But I feel like we saw that championship, and it was great. But it kind of feels like the Rams winning with Matthew Stafford to me. They didn't have the young guys to come in and sort of keep that dynasty going. It feels like, I know Kuminga is a very nice player, but what else you got here? Is there any way this all comes together?
Andrew Wiggins sort of went away,
He's played okay. I mean,
yeah, but the next year he disappeared, and he had personal things, and that's everyone has to take care of their business. I totally get it, but there were a couple things about that particular run that changed really fast after the fact. So.
We talked about Jordan Poole not there anymore. Maybe he'd be a good bench scorer. I mean, that's where we're at.
I mean, would he have any teeth left? How many times would Draymond have punched him in the face?
No,
I don't mean to make light of that.
I don't know. It just feels like a team that it's surprising to me. I'm a gigantic Steph Curry fan. It feels like it's him or bust still. It's felt that way since the title. Like, they're just way too dependent on Curry. And now that Curry is not having a great run right now.
Well, and he's got the tweaked ankle, as Kerr said. Yeah. Now, that's real, right? That's something, the All-Star festivities, I did not love that excuse.
Also, the Warriors have always been a decent defensive team, right? Don't they? Everyone thinks of them as a great outside shooting team. Then they have, I don't follow the defensive efficiency numbers, but I've seen that stat before. And I heard the other day that their defense is kind of at an all-time low for this little run, that they're not playing defense effectively. Regardless, so what happens here? I say that they do make the play-in over Houston, and then they don't get out of the play-in tournament.
I think they're going to miss it. And I think one of the reasons, and you're welcome to call us at 855-212-4CBS. I mean, I want to double down on my Last Dance opinion, but I just don't think I don't think that's realistic right now. Don't forget this thing about the Rockets. The Rockets, really young team, but Ime Udoka, who's their head coach, did something similar with Boston, where how the season started was really dicey. How they ended was amazing. It was a trip to the finals. He's doing a mini version of that with Houston. This is not going to end in a finals appearance for the Rockets, but you're seeing he kind of breaks down a team and then builds them back up. At least that's what it looks like from the outside. And it seems like you're looking at the fruits of that here at the end of the season where they've won, 9 in a row?
Show bet. I'll take the Warriors. You want to go against me? You take the Rockets?
To get in?
They play on April 5th. It should be fun.
Well, one thing about this Rockets-Warriors race, Rockets' 5th toughest schedule left, according to Tankathon. Warriors 26th.
Does it matter? I mean, the Warriors lose to
that's the
teams they
question.
shouldn't lose to on paper, so that doesn't scare me that much.
I feel like the Warriors will have a sense of urgency toward the end.
This is the end. I know they won last night. This is the end. There's 10 games left.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see. All right, show bet. You have one game, so I don't know how we handicap this. I'm very confident the Warriors make it over the Rockets.
All right. I think the Warriors are going to miss the play-in. They're going to miss it all.
What are the stakes?
We have a lot going on around that time. You realize this is, what'd you say, April 5th? That's a Thursday?
April 14th is the last day of the regular season.
No, but when do they play each other?
April 4th in Houston.
Okay, what day of the week is that? WrestleMania is
Thursday.
The 6th?
Yeah, so that's a Thursday.
Okay.
But the bet is who makes the playoffs.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say, we've got so many plates that we're spinning in the air here when it comes to what's going on with us with WrestleMania. We'll have more updates on that next week. How many show bets are we going to stack on top of each other? But yes, this bet is officially accepted.
The other interesting thing about this is, as well is that is the first of a back-to-back with the Mavericks after that. So Rockets, Mavericks next night. So the rest of the schedule may be easy, but if you get swept in the Texas twosome there, that's going to be crushing for them probably.
No doubt. 855-212-4CBS. Good note. Rich is in California, wants to talk about the Warriors. Good morning, Rich.
Good morning. Old, slow, and small have not won too many basketball championships from my point. They're at the end of the string, and either way, they're playoff fodder. And the chances of a championship are going away. Maybe with a little luck, they might let them all retire at one time.
Well,
but that's pretty much it.
I mean, all retire. Rich, I get it. You said what, old, slow, and small.
Yep.
I mean, they're not retiring. I mean, Steph, Draymond, I don't know what's going to happen with Clay next year, but I think they still want Steph and Clay and Steve Kerr. Let's not forget his part of this core for years to come.
Years.
At least 2 to 3.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
Do you think Steph Curry couldn't play till 40? LeBron's playing till 40. Why not?
Yeah,
Steph?
I agree with Curry. I don't know about Clay.
Or Draymond.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Steph just like Pearl does. I want to see him on a new team. Like we gotta be real. We gotta be real here.
He can't be on another team.
If he
Steph
wants to
Curry?
get to 5 championships and match Magic, he's not doing it on this team. He's not.
Where do you want to see him?
That's interesting.
Do not say the Knicks. Or
No,
else we
no,
gotta
we
cut
got
the
Brunson.
mic.
No, we got Brunson. We're good with that. Honestly, Dallas.
To play with Luka, I thought you were going to say that. Is that right? I don't know if I like that.
Luka, because to go off of the fairy tale land that Perloff lives, where Steph Curry's actually a shooting guard. There, he can actually be a shooting guard.
Shooting guard, yeah, shooting guard. How's he going to shoot when the ball is in Luka's hand 90% of the time?
Luka averages like almost 10 assists, so he can.
Yeah, because he's the highest usage player in the history of the NBA.
And then he'll be throwing the ball to Steph Curry. So you'll have, instead of him throwing the ball to these other guys, and Kyrie Irving's pretty good. He's played well there.
Why you have Steph Curry late and Kyrie Irving?
But he's Steph Curry. And I think when you get to the playoffs and you think about more reliability, I think I would like to see that.
Interesting.
Feels like reasonable because Dallas does make big moves.
Another team I would say, and I don't want to see this because I'm a Knicks fan, but it'll be good for this team. Cleveland has the asses, I think, to get a guy like Steph Curry.
Yeah. I wonder, that's a legacy thing, though.
He's from, he was born in Akron.
Right, but that's LeBron's franchise. And I think they have a bigger rivalry personally than we they acknowledge it sometimes on the outside. I do think they might be friends or whatever, but I do think there's a healthy rivalry there.
But imagine he went to LeBron's franchise and won the same amount of rings as LeBron. You want to talk about one up in LeBron?
Maybe that's the petty king right there.
Right.
I will do a triple show bet that Steph Curry retires a Warrior. He's not going to Cleveland. He's in the crown jewel of the NBA in that new stadium. He's not leaving Golden State. Those other guys, maybe. No way.
I mean, I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying it should. He should want to leave.
What about the Lakers? I mean, wouldn't that be the natural one?
This is corny. Come on, Lakers.
I'm just saying.
How many times are you going to see some guy at the end of his career try to get another ring at the Lakers? No, let's spice it up.
I don't know.
Not happening. He is staying in Golden. He's ritiring in Golden State.
I always thought that, but I always think that about athletes, and then I see them in other uniforms.
Most guys don't do this. Most guys don't do. And I know he says he wants to do this, and he's the king of the Bay Area, so it's more likely than not, obviously, that he will. But You guys are talking about can they win a championship? I don't know if they ever make the playoffs again with Steph Curry there. That's how bad this is. The Western Conference is not getting any easier. We could say maybe these young teams are right for the picking now, and maybe they are. They will not be next year or the year after that, the year after that.
Yeah,
these
the
teams,
OKCs, the Minnesota.
The Anthony Edwards, the Shea Gilgeouses, the Lucas, these guys ain't going nowhere.
So you're saying
Zion, like he's never beaten those guys.
So he's accepting a trade to go to Cleveland or Indianapolis? Really?
I didn't say Indianapolis.
Well, I'm just saying, who are the
started
teams
with Dallas. That's where I'd want to see him.
So he has the same problem. He's stuck in the West with all these young players.
No, but that's better. It's better than the team he has. Look at the team. Do you think he's ever seriously contending with Draymond Green and Klay Thompson as his second and third best players?
Listen,
there's no chance.
I think he's signing off on Draymond's extension. I think that he's also. I don't know. Steph isn't out there about like being the puppeteer or the puppet master of these teams, but I don't think they're making a move without him signing off, especially not the Draymond extension.
Well, that's the other problem. I think Steph's gotten a little bit into his GM mode, and he was the one that apparently said, "Give Steve Kerr this extension." I don't know what he did with Draymond, but I would expect that he wanted Draymond back.
Wait, but Steve Kerr, I mean, if Steve Kerr wants to stay there, they're not moving on from Steve Kerr. That's insane.
But Steve Kerr, and I love Steve Kerr. He's not done a great job this year. And what's Steve Kerr coaching the next 2-3 years? He's not coaching a contender. We got to wake up. This team sucks.
It's not Steve Kerr's fault. The team's not that talented.
Right. But my point, though, is if you are going to try to shake this thing up and figure it out, it's not going to be with Steve Kerr coaching these guys.
Right.
Either Steve Kerr had to go on and you need to get another coach in there who can try to get something out of this, or you need to keep Steve Kerr and get rid of those other old guys. They did both. This is why they are the way they are.
This is why I thought that this was going to be Kerr's last dance, is because he himself said that Phil Jackson always told him it's 10 years and then you wear out your welcome. Right? Or then your message gets stale. Or maybe it was 8, something like that. Knowing Phil Jackson was the exact amount of years that he's wherever
the years
he was.
I won a championship are the years that you need to quit.
Yeah, that's when you get out. And we're there. I mean, it's been a heck of a run. I think that's a good poll question. 855-212-4CBS. Should Steph Curry ask for a trade?
Oh my God. If anybody votes yes on that, and then we're not basketball friends.
Or do you think Steph Curry will play on another team before he retires?
What's the big deal about Steph Curry playing for another
He's
team?
not KD or LeBron. I mean, he's not weak.
This would be nothing like KD or LeBron. Steph has won 4 titles.
The ring chase?
He's won 4 titles with one team where he's carried them. This is something totally different.
It sounds like a ring chasing move.
Right, but Kevin Durant and LeBron James were joining teams in their primes and saying, hey, I need to find a team that's good. While Steph Curry's he's 36. He's not going to be playing until he's 42, 43. If he's going to get another ring, it's going to have to be somewhere else. And for me, I want to see Steph Curry playing in meaningful playoff basketball. He's not doing it on his team.
Yeah, 855-212-4CBS. All right, let's put the poll question up about Steph Curry, his future. A show bet was made during this segment. I no longer think the Warriors are making the playoffs, play in, whatever.
That'd be juicy. I need a little reason to watch this last 10 games.
Actually, I probably should have looked at their ending schedule before I made this one. I'm seeing Hornets. I'm seeing Spurs. I'm not liking, but, Mavericks.
Hey, the Spurs won the other day without Wemby. They can be dangerous.
Sure. Jeremy Sohan going to drop 30 every time.
I mean, Spurs maybe a little better without Wemby on the court. Just saying.
855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. See you guys on the phones. We'll get back to your calls in just one moment. We will do some very important show business next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Lines are being drawn here on the Maggie and Perloff show. Maggie and I have a new show bet. Who will make the playoffs, the Warriors or the Houston Rockets? I skew old. I'm going Golden State Warriors. Maggie says the Rockets catch them. They're one game behind right now. And then we were just discussing, EJ thinks that Steph Curry should request a trade, which it hurt my heart as a basketball fan because Steph Curry is not like LeBron and KD. He is not a ring chaser. He's a ring creator. I said it. 36 years old. I'm not sure how they ever build this team again, but you can't leave Golden State and go to the Lakers or the Mavs. That would be so weak.
Yeah, but that's what we say about, people couldn't imagine Tom Brady in a different uniform. It was a little different. I think the Patriots wanted to move on from Brady, which turned out to be a mistake. But we always say that we can't imagine these guys in other uniforms. And then it happens. Sometimes you have success. Sometimes not.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith ending his career as a Cardinal. I know what you're talking about. This feels
Joe Montana with the Chiefs made the playoffs,
different. Yeah, but Joe Montana had Steve Young behind him. It was a different situation. I can't picture Steph in another uniform, and I think Steph feels the same way. There's a lot of value being the face of Golden State. going 1 year in Dallas. Yeah.
Ashton is in Youngstown, Ohio. Hey, Ashton, how are you?
Good about you?
Ashton, you there, pal?
Yeah, good. How about you?
Okay. You have a thought on Steph Curry?
Yeah, I think when you were talking about the Cavs, what would the Cavs even trade him for? They got Garland and they got Mitchell right now. What would he even give up for him?
I'd give up.
It would
either
have to
of
be
those
Mitchell.
guys. Or Garland.
Would you give up Mitchell?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Where's the Mitchell thing trending? Because is this trending towards he's going to be signing another contract with Cleveland or likely no? Okay.
I don't know. I just think a lot of Cavs are going to be broken if he gets traded.
Donovan Mitchell already?
Yes.
All right.
If you ever go to a Cavs game, because personally I'm a big Cavs fan, it's literally electric when Mitchell gets the ball. It's like it's different when Garland gets the ball. It's like when Cavs fans got LeBron and Kyrie, like I don't know, they get star players.
Okay.
It's not very common when Cleveland team gets a star player. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, he got traded there.
Yeah.
Ashton, thanks so much for the phone call. I don't know if you want to give me the trade proposal. I don't know. That feels like a little more Cleveland sports talk, but I mean, it's just a place that EJ was saying that he thought Steph could go. I don't think Steph ends his career in Cleveland because I don't think he steps on LeBron's corner in that way. LeBron's not there, but he's obviously the most associated with that team.
You can't have Darius Garland and Steph Curry on the same,
it doesn't make sense.
Same backcourt. You couldn't cover anybody, right? They were way too small.
Garland's the guy's getting traded in a Steph Curry.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of, Steph and Mitchell, I'm watching that game.
Right.
10 times out of 10.
That's why I said that.
But would Mitchell not have to be in the trade? You don't think,
I don't think
if
so.
you're Golden State?
Oh, definitely give away Mobley. I'm not
they got a lot
nearly
of
as
young
big a
guys.
Mobley fan.
I think they could swing it. Now, the problem they have is they gave up so many picks for Mitchell.
Steph Curry's not letting any of this happen. He dictates. You guys said it yourselves. Like, he dictates what's going to happen with that franchise. There's no way he's getting traded to Cleveland. He would not let that happen in a million years.
855-212 for CBS.
Real question: is there a place you think he would want to go?
No, I think he wants to end his career in Golden State.
They stink.
Right, not Charlotte.
If Charlotte was a better run franchise, maybe there's an appeal about going home because he's still so associated with Charlotte.
He's an entrepreneur. He likes the Bay Area. It's pretty out there.
What about Miami?
Ooh.
I mean, isn't that where every aging superstar should go?
Right. Isn't that where every old person goes to retire, right?
Yeah, right. In South Florida. He'd just really be following the national trends.
You know, he is obsessed with golf.
He loves golf.
Oh, you threw out Miami.
And he loves culture, too.
Big culture guy. Okay, Pete has a rundown for us. If he was producing the LeBron James, JJ Redick podcast where they get together and drink a lot of wine and talk about basketball in a very in-depth way, Pete Bellotti says he doesn't want to hear LeBron James talk about basketball.
No, don't care about it whatsoever.
Heaven forbid. The Pete Bellotti, if you were producing JJ Redick's podcast with LeBron James, what would be their first topic?
Well, all right. I have 3 rundowns here.
Okay, give us
3 shows.
Give us a nibble.
I'll give you the random show in the nightclub. All right, so JJ and LeBron go do a remote in a nightclub, and it's a very song-oriented show. So they have to sing a random song out of a hat every break. So so they're both singing like we did before.
Okay.
They have many guests because it's a remote. So you have Dua Lipa on, and then we're gonna have the band like Oates from Hall & Oates, and we're gonna have Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel
with LeBron and JJ Redick.
In a nightclub.
In a nightclub singing
with Dua Lipa.
Right.
It's just crazy enough to work.
That's right. That's the exact point of the whole thing. The exact point is to put them out of their, take them out of their element, and do something different. Because I don't want to hear them talk about the ins and outs of the NBA. Fine, great, wonderful. I want to hear something different.
You want to hear them sing?
Yes. I will say this: maybe my favorite or second favorite LeBron commercial is him singing "Time After Time" by Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
That is an awesome commercial.
Right.
It's a banger of a song.
I have to hand it to you. It's interesting because I think it takes real creativity to actually come up with an idea worse than the actual JJ LeBron podcast. But I just Dua Lipa.
It's just one of 3 rundowns that he has. We'll get another one later on in the show.
This is in 20 minutes, and I'm coming off the top of my head. But you know what? I will swap out Dua Lipa because I'm a good producer. I would swap out for Cyndi Lauper.
All right.
Put Cyndi Lauper on.
I like it. So karaoke, like it's LeBron's karaoke night.
Right. Yeah.
That is something.
I'm
That'd be
telling you.
cool.
You want the masked singer, just no masks.
Right.
And I think there's a side idea in there too. The pattern of half of well-known groups.
Right.
Just Oates, just Garfunkel.
Right.
You could probably do a podcast like that.
Yeah.
Just pick one side of a duo.
See, things they grow from the initial
Yeah, we're
podcast.
spitballing here.
All right, Amazon literally just paid $400 million for LeBron's karaoke night.
That's right.
As we're speaking. You kidding me? They would jump on that idea in 2 seconds.
It's actually going to be halftime of every Thursday night football game is actually a weird crossover where LeBron sings karaoke.
That's right.
With Cyndi Lauper.
Look, I mean, it gets you talking. I'm telling you.
Did you see LeBron last night? He was peak obnoxious LeBron on the sideline.
was.
What was that outfit?
I don't know.
You just say that about an NBA player. I mean, we'll be here all day.
He's LeBron though. And I love varsity jackets, but that one was weird. And then he had a red hat.
Well, Where's Waldo? He was coming on the court to scream at Rui Hachimura at one point.
Yeah, that was weird. And then he did the count whenever Giannis was at the free throw line. He was doing the count.
Well, that I'm okay with. Let's hurry it up here.
I mean, the count like
no,
one.
it's just to get in Giannis's head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, and also Giannis, let's pick it up. I mean, the pace.
Well, Giannis can't. He obviously has that free throw problem where he can't get it going. I don't think LeBron was trying to help Giannis. I think he was trying to make him even more nervous, and it totally worked.
Two free throws. The count.
I know. Okay. Let's Bogish. Okay, we'll get to our one-hit wonder stuff in a little bit. Andrew Bogish has headlines. Of course that's more important, Bogish. I would never presume that our bracket of one-hit wonders, round of 32 in the cruising region, could ever be more important than what you have to say.
Well, not the cruising region. The weddings region would have gone before
Then
me.
I don't know.
Let me add on to the Ohtani conversation you guys had last hour. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said yesterday there's an added bonus to removing Ippei Mizuhara from the clubhouse. It has taken away a buffer, quote, buffer between Ohtani and his teammates. Rogers says Shohei has been more engaging with the other Dodgers over the last 2 days and, quote, there's only upside with that.
Spin on spin on spin on spin.
It's not like he's getting dressed in another stadium. He's in the same locker room.
We've already seen it in the last couple days. He's way more engaged with his teammates. It's like, yeah, because he's probably has to feel like he has to make up for the fact that they're all underwater with this scandal.
You guys are so cynical. I'm Team Shohei. Guy's a victim of theft, and you're making him out to be the bad guy.
There could be another easier explanation for this, which is just you guys all just took a trip to South Korea. These are generally team building things, and he's with a whole new team, so he's getting to know these guys. But let's spin it some more.
Pretty likable team, too. I mean, everybody likes Mookie Betts.
So
right?
here's the thing, though. I actually believe this report, which is actually worse.
I do, too.
Because I think that he was doing his superstar stuff. He was, not talking to anybody, doing his own thing. And now that he's in trouble, he's like, oh, hey, guys. Hey, what you guys up to?
Oh, so he's a phony.
Oh, this is what anybody who gets in trouble, this and is involved in a team concept or a group concept, this is playbook number one.
Yeah, you got to humble yourself.
Right, humble yourself, make you look like, hey, I'm just one of the guys. He's definitely doing this, which is why I rolled my eyes. He's starting to become a little unlikable, which is crazy.
Get out of here.
I love Shohei Ohtani.
Well, but Dave Roberts said
he might bet on baseball, bro. What do you mean get out of here?
There's nothing. There's nothing to grab onto about him being unlikable except for the betting on baseball thing. And even if he did that, he's still. I don't even care. Even if he bet on baseball, he's still so cool to watch. I pray he doesn't get suspended.
But I'll say this too. The team building is very important. They should all gather together and go to Harrah's and relax and enjoy the buffet.
Maybe not right now.
Enjoy the buffet. And get a load off. That the regular season is going to be a treacherous journey for them, especially when they lose in the first round. So just get all the bugs out of the system.
Yeah, they might. You know what? They might win 103 games instead of 106 this year. I mean, they are the Dodgers. He's actually
but here's the thing: we have not liked it when there have been players that have been standoffish before, and I think we're always definitely willing to give Shohei Ohtani the benefit of the doubt because we don't know a lot about him. Who knows what he's like behind closed doors? Because we don't get let into that part of his life. So if he was being standoffish or being separated from the pack, sure, maybe that's Ippei. And again, they keep painting Ippei as the mastermind here, who was the evil at the center of all of this. And now Ippei was the guy keeping Shohei away from the team. Like at some point, Shohei has to take a little responsibility for how he interacts with people. No?
So I mean, I didn't read it as standoffish or like unapproachable, just that you had to talk to Ippei first because you didn't know if Shohei
could understand you.
Right. So like that, the fact that there was just somebody in the way,
right,
maybe made people not handle the situation the right way.
Totally get that.
But it wasn't negative or bad. It was just
a layer
different.
of that's removed.
But
Right, right.
What? He
but
has
here's
a new
the thing.
translator now.
That's what I'm saying. He's got a new translator. And the other part too is and again, every situation is different, so we can't say one size fits all here. But like we know, because we were here in New York, that Masahiro Tanaka, right, of course would speak with a translator when he was speaking to the media. But everyone knew he could speak English, and not only that, he was one of the funniest guys in the clubhouse, and that got out. So like, even if you have a translator, it doesn't mean you can't approach your teammates. That's Shohei's choice.
Sure, but we also do have some video evidence of Shohei being A, speaking English, B, being funny, C, being a good teammate. The Angels shared things. There's a great clip of him, I think in Oakland, where he got hit by a pitch and he goes to first base and he says to the first baseman, "I'm getting you next inning." Yeah. Like, so we know there's a personality there. It's like I read this yesterday as possibly fueling the idea that Ippei was really actually manipulating him somehow. Maybe he's not. And, we have this, I'll present this Nick Saban story now that I was going to get to later. There's this long ESPN article now about how Nick Saban's handling retirement.
Yeah.
And in there, his wife goes, Nick just wrote his first email ever, and for the first time in his life, went to the pharmacy to pick up his prescription. Those are two really simple things that 70-year-old Nick Saban never did because he was an insane football coach. It's possible. So if like that's funny and cool and like quirky, it follows that Shohei Ohtani might have been so focused on being a remarkable baseball player,
or just insulated,
that he gave this guy too much access, and relied on too many people to do other things for him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we get into that Nick Saban story. That first one is just a straight up impossibility.
The
to
email
believe.
one,
and also who retires and then gets into email. You are doing this all wrong.
I don't know. The grandparents are the only people who still email in our family. So I totally get that.
There's like the number one
an email.
Everyone texts. One thing, you guys were kind of painting Shohei in a Barry Bonds light, where he had his own crime. He wasn't like that. He had a different energy than Barry Bonds, who I think was regarded as standoffish.
Right.
He was I never got that sense about Shohei. No. It just seemed like, I like your word, insulated. He had so much media following him, and he wasn't comfortable with the language. I think he was more isolated for other reasons, not because he's a big ego guy.
Right. Okay, that's fine. What I'm saying is Shohei also has to take responsibility for that. I get, okay, maybe he was being manipulated every which way but Sunday from Mizuhara, and that's what I think part of the spin on this story, number one, or maybe it was true, but you have to be alleging that, again, Ippei was this mastermind who was really trying to isolate him, like putting him in a cult. Like that's what people do when you want someone in a cult. You isolate them from their family and friends. You become their only way to communicate. Like we really have to take a leap there. At some point, Shohei can also just be around his teammates. And that's what Dave Roberts is like, now he can be around his teammates. Like he could have always done that.
See, again, I don't think that's what Dave Roberts said.
Okay.
He was not saying that he was not there. He was just saying that he's been more personable. It wasn't not that he was hiding or not there.
It's a choice, though. It's just what we're implying.
But he's 5 days in. He's 2 games into his whole Dodgers experience. He just got there.
No, but they had a whole spring
training, though.
What's that?
They've been around for a month.
Yeah.
And the report comes out that he's being more personable after the biggest scandal of his life comes up. I mean, we gotta stop infantilizing. Is that the word? Yeah. Whatever the word is. Like this guy, he's a grown man, and
EJ, and like on more serious fronts, a lot of grown people get handled by other people in a very negative way, or they fall victim to similar things like this.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Go ahead, Pete.
He was very measured in his approach in finding a location to play baseball this past year. I mean, we had to sit there and wait for him to basically go through everybody's resume. So he knows a little more than we think, I think.
Or people were telling him to be like that.
No, but look, he's a grown human being, and after a while, I mean, if you're passing $4 million checks. I mean, that's something that's not just a matter of, I was being a dummy. It's hey, look, there's something going on here. Come on, you straighten it out.
Well, I think there's two reads on this with Ohtani, and this is, I think, part of the obfuscation or whatever of this story and how each side's trying to get their story out, which is either you believe that Ohtani has been this innocent bystander patsy who is being manipulated by this interpreter to lengths that go into every single part of his life, or you believe that, no, Ohtani is can actually be an adult who is responsible for his own actions, who does have a handle on his own finances, who does have a handle on where he wanted to go in free agency, and who was a little more a person of the world as opposed to a person locked away from the world.
Yeah, but thousands of big-time athletes, thousands have been ripped off by their business managers.
Yes.
I mean, so many.
For many dollars.
For many dollars, and they might be the most personal guys in the world. But that's what business managers do. They rip off famous people.
No, I get it, but we had David Sampson, who's the former president of the Marlins, on yesterday, who
ripped off a whole city, by the way.
Who definitely, he definitely did, and he'll admit that about getting the stadium built. But the thing is, he said he's been around players who have been ripped off, and even he thought $4.5 million was pretty rich.
Oh, that is there. I heard some numbers of other scandals. Players have lost way more.
Did Antoine Walker lose like $100 million?
I think
stuff
Drew,
like this.
Drew Brees and that diamond thing was $15 million, right? I mean, there's so many stories of guys getting ripped off. They make so much money, and they're just gigantic targets.
There's ripping off, and then there's theft. And yes, there are thefts as well. But I think that we can't conflate some of these things. Yes, there are times where guys blow a lot of money, or they sign terrible contracts, or there's weird stipulations in deals. Mike Tyson and those Don King, that happens. I think it's a lot different when you say this money was stolen from me from somebody who accessed my bank account, and we don't know why he had access, and we don't know why he wasn't informed by anybody else that this money kept going away. And they won't answer those questions.
But I think
they don't have to answer them to us, by the way, either.
Yeah, I think business managers have stolen from accounts before. That's happened a lot of times because you give access to your accounts to your business manager, and I think that is always tenuous situation.
But Ipe is not his business manager. Ipe is not his business manager. He's supposed to be a friend and translator. And someone can tell me why the translator had access to his banking information and how a bank will allow $4 million to go out of the wind and somehow not notify Shohei or his actual financial people, because I'm sure it's somebody that's not Ipe. Until that gets answered, there are going to be questions. And I'm tired of this guy being I can't say that word, but that's
treated like a child.
He's treated like he's not 2 years old. He's a grown man.
Right, but EJ, like if you're Shohei and you have all of that money in your bank account, and you're making big purchases, the bank is not going to go, something's weird here. That's a $500,000 transfer. Like that might not be abnormal for the bank to let Shohei Ohtani know that something's going on.
Well,
I think there is. I totally disagree with that.
I think that there might be just procedural things here, like of how do you wire transfer money and like authentication that you need to show and things like that. Which again, when you get to be this rich, I have no idea if there's different rules for super duper rich people than there are for regular people, but multiple $500,000 wire transfers. I don't know. You would think that a bank would be like, "Are you sure?" Something like that.
To one person, it'd be different if it's like, "Oh, it's to Ford, it's to Lamborghini."
What if it was to a business manager?
This real estate industry. I say, all right, well, that makes sense if I'm a bank. Some random guy is getting $500,000 every couple of months, and we don't know why.
What if it was a broker or a business person? Like that doesn't.
This guy's not a business person,
or his agent. But the bank's
sure
not vetting the recipients of your money.
I don't know. We'd have to have somebody on who really knows. Obviously, we
had David Sampson yesterday who thought it was odd.
He thought it was odd,
and he's not qualified to make that decision, just like we aren't either, because he's not a banker. He doesn't work for Chase.
We should try to get the procedure of a wire transfer. What do you need? But again, I don't know if there's different rules for super rich people than there are for regular people.
You're going out of your way to make that transaction. It just seems off.
I mean, that's why it's been the number one story in the country for the last
week. Off. You go out of your way to do this. It's not like it's a direct deposit or you're writing a check. Even if you're writing a check.
But a wire transfer is usually based on the amount of money changing hands. At some point, you can't do a direct deposit. You have to do a wire transfer. And again, that's just a different world that we don't live in.
So
it's not going out of your way to do a wire transfer.
All right. So if you're transferring $500,000, right, twice. Wouldn't the bank?
No.
Listen, wouldn't the bank want to check that to make sure it wasn't a mistake?
No.
That you're sending the first, that it wasn't like a duplicate payment?
But we don't know that they would send like back to back.
But
if there's time in between them,
that? I mean, they check if I went to another state to buy a pack of gum.
Is this you?
That do that.
Are
They
you
flag
sure?
it.
It's funny though, because how we got back on the Ohtani thing was the Dave Roberts comment that he's been now, like, he thinks that in some way having Ippei out of the way they're painting that as a good thing, that there's no longer this layer of communication that a person you have to go through to get to Shohei. And I think where this all started again is that's how much do you believe that Shohei on his own could have still had these relationships and got to know his players? Like, that layer is Shohei's choice, I think, is what EJ and I are saying. And you guys are saying you don't think so. That it was just, this is how it was. Ippei is a huge part of his life. He trusted Ippei.
Yeah.
So that's where the disagreement really comes in. We've got to go. We've got to go to break. Thank you. We will have to do our one-hit wonder update next segment. It's a crying shame. More upsets on the way. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
great Andrew Perloff. Shohei Ohtani is still in the news, Perloff.
I learned something important today.
What's that?
I do not know what a wire transfer is.
We thought we did.
It's words that make sense. I know what wire and transfer is. I've dawned on me that I've been reading this story and I don't really understand the nature of a wire transfer.
Well, I think we know what they are. We just don't know the exact tick-tock of how do you get one done and how much authentication do you need to get one done, and could somebody else, like, I don't know, Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, manipulate that. So,
well, by the way, you say we know what I don't know what it means. It goes straight from my bank account to your bank account?
Yes.
What's the word wire mean?
I don't know. It's just what you call it.
Oh, okay. So what's the difference between it and a direct deposit check? Like a check means a pay. So it's the same as a check in a sense.
I believe so, yes.
I don't think you know exactly what a wire transfer is either.
No, I just don't know what the distinction you're trying to make is. If you have a check, you send somebody a check, it takes days to clear. I think the wire transfer actually takes a couple days to clear as well.
Okay.
But a check, you write a check and you send it to somebody.
Yeah.
This is a transfer that goes right from your account to another account.
Okay, so it's the same dynamic as a check. It's just faster or something.
I would believe so. Bill's in Harrisburg. Maybe he's got our back on this one. Good morning, Bill. Bill, are you there?
Bill, we need you to explain wire transfers.
Okay. What do you have for us on wire transfers?
Well, I don't have an idea what wire transfer is. My question to you, Mr. Perloff, is,
oh, man.
Post 9/11, didn't they put in a law where the banks have to notify Homeland Security of deposits or withdrawals over a certain amount of money?
I think so, but Homeland Security is involved in this story, so that must be why.
Okay, so if they're involved in this story, then it must have been Ohtani that actually done it.
Well, unless Ipe was posing as Ohtani.
Right. That's what... Bill, thanks. Sorry, it's just a little loud.
That's sort of the gist of it, right?
They're alleging that Ipe's stealing the money.
Right, yes. So he got the password, which is maybe just guessed the password. He spends a lot of time around Ohtani.
It's Slugger 12345. Bank wire transfer. It's electronic transfer of money. Goes from one bank or credit union to another using a network. Like it's just an automatic transfer. You knew that.
Well, I kind of knew that.
You're saying you didn't, but you do.
But I don't understand. But it does seem Andrew Bogus was just saying us that when if it gets too big for direct deposit, you go to a wire transfer. Mm-hmm. And everyone keeps talking about all the safeguards on wire transfers. I just think that I'm not quite sure I understand how you move money around at this size. It's not something I've never had to deal with. 500,000. Yeah. A lot of people are assuming. I've heard a lot of logistics of these deals. And the truth is, I think there's a lot of details here that are important, and they're still to be revealed.
Well, yeah. I mean, and what it boils down to is something we've been asking about for days, which is, how did Ipe have this information? So that's a question that Ohtani did not answer in the 12 minutes. So there you go. We have to get it answered.
I did read. I'm sorry. I'm confusing with the Diddy case. Was Homeland Security involved in the Shohei case?
Homeland Security was involved in this case, yes, because they're investigating the
wire transfer.
Well, I think also the bookie, right?
Oh, right. So that person had a good point. If the money becomes too big, then it becomes a Homeland Security issue.
It's Homeland in conjunction with the IRS.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. 855-212-4CBS Wednesdays, which means great debate Wednesdays around here. Gonna give you a hint, it has nothing to do with anything we've been talking about. No scandals here. We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
thinks Frisbee golf is the sport of the future. She's sticking with football. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Wednesdays around here means what else? The Great Debate. That's what we do on Wednesdays. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Take something a little loosely based on the news, and we broaden it out. Let's hit the music.
The Great Debate Series.
I think I speak for all of us in this room and across the glass and across the country when I say we are excited that opening day in this country starts tomorrow. This is exciting.
Sort of opening day.
Yeah, we sort of had one. That got mired around in a little bit of a scandal over in South Korea with Shohei Ohtani, but we actually get legit full across the league opening day, weather permitting, starting tomorrow. So with that in mind, today's Great Debate is the most must-see Major League Baseball player of all time. The person who was either the most exciting that you actually saw, the most exciting person you wished you had seen. This is an all-time debate here. So who is the most exciting, the can't-miss, the must-see baseball player of all time?
Wow. Okay. I went with Ken Griffey Jr. I didn't know Babe Ruth was on the table, but I would go with, no, for me it's Ken Griffey Jr. because he's the most exciting player I saw. I'm going to go with some personal experience.
Okay.
I'll tell you a quick story. I was at Yankee Stadium. The Mariners were in town, and the Mariners had A-Rod and Ken Griffey Jr. I remember nobody cared when A-Rod was up. I think it was the early innings, and A-Rod only hits homers when they're up 7-2 in the 8th. So Ken Griffey Jr. was coming up, and I saw kids were running out from the concession area. They're like, he's up. We got to see him. There was a time in the 90s where seeing Ken Griffey Jr. bat was the must-see thing in TV. The dude saved the sport after the strike in 94. There's no sweeter swing in baseball history than that left-handed stroke. Also, the joy for the game. Now, I'm talking about, by the way, Seattle Ken Griffey Jr. Cincinnati Ken Griffey Jr., disappointing. Still 13-time All-Star, one of the all-time home run leaders. Great player, but it was the joy he played with and how beautiful it was when he hit a home run. And the dude is amazing in the field. More of an Andrew Jones is the best fielder I've ever seen, but Ken Griffey's right there. This was the full package. Nobody else brought joy to baseball like Ken Griffey Jr.
Fly ball into deep left center field. Griffey going back to the 1-8 track, leaps high in the air, and he's got it! An incredible catch by the kid! He takes away a home run from Jesse Barfield, climbing the wall in left center field in Death Valley here at Yankee Stadium. Look at Barfield, he's stunned. He's standing there with his hands on his hip.
Perloff, I know your love for Ken Griffey. It's shared by a lot of people in this show and obviously in this country. We appreciate Griffey. He's fantastic. But here's where your argument gets flawed. Now, you can say the most exciting player is a position player or great hitter or whatever, but you are only getting that person in spurts. You don't know a ball's going to get hit towards Ken Griffey if you go to see him at the ballpark. You might get a spectacular catch. You might get nothing. He could be up to bat. He might get walked 3 times out of 4, and intentionally, you have no idea what you're going to get. That's why I went with a pitcher. Because at least if I go with a starting pitcher, I know not only is it electric walking into the stadium that day where I get to see one of the greatest pitchers of all time, but I know, barring an injury, of course, I know I'm going to get multiple innings worth of brilliance. And for that, the most exciting and the most must-see baseball player of all time is Pedro Martinez.
Barry Larkin, that's still one of the game's best. Got him with a changeup and a good start for Pedro Martinez in the American League. Just selecting the reserves, the pitchers for this. Goodbye, Larry Walker. See you later.
Well, stay tuned. Pedro doesn't look like he's losing anything.
4 in a row.
Yeah, that was Pedro in the All-Star game in 99. So pitching through the steroid era and through this big offensive era, he pitched through many eras because he did it for so long. But the other reasons why I love Pedro, right? In a smaller package, 5'11", had 3 pitches. So this is not just, Mariano, no disrespect, but it's not just watching the cutter, and that was incredible. But you're watching the incredible changeup, you're watching the fastball, and you're watching the curveball. Also, Pedro's a bit of a wild card. He's spicy. He's talking trash. You get a show with Pedro Martinez. He's the most exciting, must-see player, baseball player of all time. EJ.
All right, so this was a tough one for me because I love seeing guys in the field, but it's hard to find that guy in the field. Like, I love Omar Vizquel, but I can't say he's the most exciting guy ever, obviously, even though he was awesome at shortstop. There's, Perloff took maybe the best two-way guy that I would want to see in Griffey. So I had to go over the guy I actually didn't watch play live, but the urban legends and the fairy tales you hear about this guy are awesome. And then the stuff you actually saw him do was also awesome. I'm going with Bo Jackson as the most watched player of all time.
And not talent. Orsolak licks that one to left center field. Bo won the charge. Bo is there. Yo, mama, love that
That was Bo Jackson scaling a wall
Yeah.
in a game. He makes an incredible catch in center field and just scaled up a wall like he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, he ran.
Like this is Mirror's Edge, the video
He didn't jump over the wall. He put his feet up on the wall and then ran up. It was insane.
Ran on a wall that is vertical. I mean, I've seen this a million times, and I still can't believe it. I just watched it again. I still can't believe what I just saw. Bo Jackson breaking bats with his just hands, not even using his legs. I mean, the stuff this guy was doing is incredible. The fact that he was a football player that would leave the season as soon as the baseball season over and go play football. I mean, I think that Bo Jackson is probably the most must-watch athlete of all time. So if we're going with football, he may be most watched. I would say baseball as well. Bo Jackson would be my pick.
Okay, we're doing the most must-see baseball star of all time with opening day in earnest starting tomorrow. Pete Bellotti, this is right in your wheelhouse. Who do you have?
Oh, yes. I'm going to go with a man that's under a lot of controversy. But when he came up with the Cubs, his stint with the Cubs, it was some of the most exciting times, I think, at least in my life, to watching baseball. That's Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa, before everything with the home runs, with 98 and with the steroids and whatnot, and the cork bat, Sammy Sosa was appointment watching for a team that was terrible in the mid-90s. Before he was hitting all these major 60, 70 home runs, he was a batter that just had that presence. That when you watched him on television, you wanted to watch him, and Harry Carey calling his games. And WGN was on in a lot of places at that time. And so you, at 2 o'clock, when you're getting home from school, you're seeing Cubs games. And for me, that was appointment watching because they would always play day games, and I would watch Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, I was curious why not McGuire.
Well, McGuire, because we knew McGuire, Canseco had the Bash Brothers and whatnot. He was, when McGuire was in that chase for 62, it was toward the end of his career. We knew what Mark McGuire could bring, and his home runs fine. I mean, if you watch that race between McGuire and Sosa, it was always about what is Sammy Sosa doing. And that's for me. That's what it was, because I always found him a more dynamic player. And to be honest, he should be in the Hall of Fame regardless of the whole steroid thing. Everyone was doing steroids then, and the commissioner that oversaw the whole thing is in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. So you can't make money off of everybody and then say, "Oh no, they're no good." So Sammy Sosa to me is my guy.
Okay, we're doing the most must-see baseball stars of all time with opening day. Well, right on the horizon. It's opening day eve. Andrew Bogish, what do you got, sir?
This one's tough for me as well, since I can't really, fit a Soviet hocky player answer into this one.
We threw you a curveball.
Yeah.
Bellotti moved past Bruce Bochy, so you could do it too.
Surprised that he did.
Yeah, he wasn't really good.
I'm going to use this as a time machine possibility here. We're also a video game household at the Bogish house, and MLB The Show is out recently. For the second straight year, they have this remarkable feature where you learn about Negro League players and you play as them in the games. This is also top of mind. So my choice is Josh Gibson. Maybe the greatest player to never be in the major leagues. Remarkable power, home runs, hit for average, all while playing catcher, the most physically demanding position on the field. What's the line? Like, he's your favorite player's favorite player? Like Josh Gibson, there's all of these legends, all 600-foot home runs at a Yankee Stadium. Take me back then to see what it was like to actually see Josh Gibson in action.
All right, so there you have it. The most must-see baseball stars of all time. Now, what's crazy about this is Shohei Ohtani belongs on this list.
Sure.
And Shohei Ohtani is now dealing with the fallout from this scandal, but he certainly belongs on this list.
Yeah.
He, right now, I would say, without a doubt, is the number one.
Yeah.
I mean, put away your fan affiliations for a second if you love your team and you want to see your guys, but, I mean, he's the biggest ticket in town.
Absolutely. Just as a hitter alone, I think he's the biggest ticket in town. He's been the best hitter in the game the last few years. I mean, there is a little bit of a Bryce Harper cult because he does have that sweet lefty home run swing. I'll just say it, that he is one of the more watchable players. Don't yell at me. Aaron Judge also watchable.
Aaron Judge is amazing, too.
Yeah, but the left, I mean, honestly, for me, I would Griffey, left-handed home runs just land differently.
So we have
They're
some
way better.
Good ones in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. If you would like to weigh in, we're getting a lot of Fernando Valenzuela. We're getting some Bartolo Colon, which is especially if he has a home run in San Diego and that fun one. Lenny Dykstra.
From Lenny Dykstra.
Lenny.
See a listener.
Didn't realize
Wally
he was
Backman
in the chat.
Vote.
We've got Ozzie Smith in the chat. We've got Willie Mays in the chat.
Yeah,
A little,
so,
I thought a little Ricky Henderson might come up, too.
Ricky
a lot
Henderson
of Ricky
is also
stands.
in the chat.
Let's put up a poll because I will dominate this poll with Ken
Well,
Griffey.
the problem with putting out a poll in the great debate, not to do production on the show, is that we have 5 answers and 4 choices. So then someone gets eliminated.
Let's just keep out Josh Gibson because you went someone you've never seen.
It's okay. That's part of the rules.
Because you can't do Ty Cobb or Babe Ruth or Josh.
I didn't watch Bob. I didn't watch Bo Jackson play.
You've seen 1,000 Bo Jackson highlights. You're telling me you haven't seen him break that bat?
I've never seen games. I'm saying.
Can I also point out, if we're going to go pull the curtains back here, that Pete and I know about this in 4th and 5th place. By the time it gets to us, you've taken Ken Griffey Jr. and Pedro. So what am I supposed to do?
The second this debate came up, I screamed to everyone, I got Griffey.
I got Jordan. I got the dream team. I got Ken Griffey.
I said, I got Griffey,
Pearl.
and 3 people said, oh.
We're really going to put back the curtain.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If you guys would like to have first dibs, then you have to sit in on our production meeting.
Yeah. No, I'm fine if it please just leave me alone with Josh Gibson and the Soviet hockey team.
You have to sit in our hour-long production meeting where we brainstorm all these ideas. That's part of it.
It takes you an hour to get to Michael Jordan and
yes,
and Ken Griffey Jr.
But I'll say this though, to this one, Pete knew about this great debate before Perloff did, because Perloff actually dipped a little early yesterday. And Pete, I already told him before I left, hey, this is the great debate tomorrow.
I know.
So
and
I
honestly,
was 5th this week.
But if Pete had said, I want Ken Griffey Jr., would have said, no, you got to give it to Perloff.
But I'm not.
I
Perloff
do. You
loves
never,
Griffey.
but Bilotti, you never go with the standard. You always go against the grain.
No, because of course, yes, Griffey, Pedro, loved watching him. But Sammy Sosa, no one's going to talk about Sammy Sosa. Everyone's still regard him as a guy with what's going on with his face, what's happening. With
awkward interviews.
Like can he speak English? All that stuff.
I thought McGuire, because he hit a few more home runs than Sammy, would be the obvious answer.
To me, there was a time in that race, I mentioned, there was a cult following behind Sammy Sosa.
It was both of them.
Because everyone knew McGuire could do it.
But could you argue Barry Bonds was more exciting than both of them? If you're going to look past the PEDs, that was exciting.
So
too.
here's the thing about Bonds, because I was thinking about it, but that again falls in why I picked Pedro Martinez in a pitcher. I could go watch Bonds, and he could get walked 4 times.
Dude hit 72 home runs.
I know, but if I show up to a game where he's playing, I don't know what I'm going to get. So if you're talking about, but yes, him hitting home runs is amazing, but he also got walked so much.
Bonds was on my short list, but the problem I had was the walks. I think watching Bonds hit home runs, I'd rather watch him hit home runs than anyone else that we've talked about. So I almost picked him, but Maggie's right. There are games where he's going to get walked 3 times, and that wasn't happening. That wasn't happening to Sammy Sosa, which I think makes him more exciting. And I agree with Pete actually a little bit on that, because McGuire, okay, he's hitting the home runs, he's doing the weird little celebration. I mean, Sammy Sosa's hopping at the home run, he's doing the weird stuff in the camera, he's running around with the American flag after 9/11. He was a showman, and I think there was something about that I think added more to watching him be more fun than McGuire, who did the home run, do the little celebration at the plate, and then go hug his kid.
Do you remember when McGuire hit that? Sorry, when McGuire hit that homer off Lidge, that's the longest home run in the history of the planet. There was something about McGuire's bombs.
I don't remember that.
All right, let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Tony is in Pennsylvania, has got one. Hey, Tony, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Love your show. I'm too young to but I've seen enough old video clips of him that I would probably go with him. But much to Maggie's point, I'm going to go with a pitcher. Short career, only a couple years that he pitched, but his antics on the mound and just the way he handled things. You guys remember Mark the Bird Fidrich?
Yeah, of course.
Storming around the mound, and he was just a great, great memory of him pitching when I was growing up. Crazy guy.
Tony, thank you. Yes, the theatrics, I mean, got the name because, he reminded a coach that he looked like Big Bird. Pretty amazing. All right, so keep them coming. The great debate today is the most must-see baseball star of all time. Quickly, let's hit our pal Big Friendly is in California. Good morning, Big Friendly.
Good morning, Maggie Malone, Perloff the Professor, 411, EJ the EP, Bilotti. Now that I see you live, can I change your nickname from the Body to the Button Man? Because you have the look of a hitman that's in Witsack, my man.
Wait, I'm sorry, Big Friendly. The what you want to change his nickname to? The what man?
The Button Man.
The Butt Man?
Mafia hitman. He looks like a mafia man who's
the
in witness
Button
protection
Man.
program. The Button Man. Button.
He wants to be in my blue heaven, so make it happen.
Wait, for a second I thought you said the Butt Man, and you're like, by the looks of him, I can tell he's more of a butt than I don't know, more of an A than a T kind of guy is where I thought you were going with that. I was like, how do you know that by looking at a guy?
It's obvious. Is
like
he
a little
troopy?
more Beyonce Serena than Sydney Sweeney is what I thought you were getting
There
at.
you go.
All right. Sorry, that was my bad. I didn't mean to put us in the gutter, Big Friendly.
Very topical reference, Maggie. Well played.
Continue on that topic.
Yeah, more next. What else you got, Big Friendly? What's going on?
So real quick, I want to just piggyback off Perloff real quick. I was at the Angels Seattle game when King Griffey Jr. hit the home run at an Angel Stadium.
Wow.
So to me, that was like being 15 years old and watching him do that, and it was the crack of the bat. I've never heard it before. I've never heard it since. It was amazing. But real quick, I just want to hop on the Ohtani real quick. Forgive the pun because I know they're dealing with P. Diddy. With the Ohtani thing, the way the Dodgers are spinning this more than the spin doctors, my assumption is he has to be guilty. When the steroid scandal came out, there's one player we do not ever bring up. And do you know why?
Is it Rafael Palmeiro because he pointed at Congress and he emphatically denied it?
No, ma'am.
Who is it?
Jason Giambi. Jason Giambi is the only baseball player who stood in front of the press and admitted, I did steroids. I needed advantage. I wanted an advantage. We don't talk about him. The reason why the Ohtani, I can't say his first name, forgive me.
Ohtani.
The Ohtani thing is so big is because none of us believe his excuse. You're telling me that $4.1 million came out of your bank account and you did not see that? If 50 cents comes out of my bank account, I'm calling my banker.
Big Friendly. Man, I get it. It's funny. I didn't think to go to the Giambi thing. And Big Friendly, you're the best. Thank you so much. We're up against it. Great to hear from you. So Perloff and I did talk about this, right? If it was true that he was covering for a friend's gambling debts, why not just come out and say that? I was duped by somebody. I wanted to help. If you were in my position, what would you have done? And I guess that's what Friendly's saying, how Jason Giambi, just sort of fell on the sword. Like, hey, I was in the era. Yeah. I wanted to get an edge, and people maybe forgave him. I know the same with Andy Pettitte, who basically came out and said, I was coming back from an injury. I did it. I feel terrible about it, and sort of owned it. We said that. Ohtani could have owned this and probably would have gotten some sympathy from people.
Because that's not how it happened. Because Shohei did not float that $500,000 series of wire transfers.
You just think this was outright theft? He had no clue
I
about
think it's
any of
more
this.
likely that he was misled by this interpreter than he was helping out a buddy.
Are we now calling Bilotti the butt man? I'm so sorry. I couldn't hear exactly. He said button man. The Button Man, which is also a reference I've never heard of before. That's like a mafia reference?
I didn't know. I assumed Button Man was because he presses all the buttons, which I think is like the connection.
Got it.
But then he said something about a hitman, and I was like, well, that I don't get.
Right.
I've never watched The Godfather, as I've said a million times, so I don't know anything
Button
about
Man's
mafia
not
stuff.
in The Godfather.
Yeah, well, it would be more Sanitation Man, because that's usually
right. Well, not in The Godfather.
Yeah, right.
And just for the record, Giambi apologized, but he never actually apologize for anything specifically.
Yeah, he never said what he did.
Right. He just said, I'm sorry, but he would not go. He did not say what he was sorry for, and didn't answer any direct question. So he apologized, and we just didn't care about Giambi enough.
I don't think he was as great a player as those other guys.
Exactly.
I think that's part of it.
It's like, what are you sorry for? All of it?
But I don't. I actually agree with Big Friendly. I do think that Jason Giambi gets a little bit of a pass. We're like, that's typical Jason Giambi. He was just such a character. He doesn't get killed like Sammy and McGuire and Bonds. I mean, who gets mad at Jason Giambi?
The Golden Thong?
Yeah, he's more of a comic character in baseball history than. Maybe that's not fair.
Which is weird because he was definitely
a great player.
Serious player. Like he was not like just like this guy's 440 home runs. If there was no steroid situation, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. Like,
or he'd have 44 home runs.
Right.
Wow.
He'd be Jeremy. Yeah. Jeremy, who also cheated. But we think
Jeremy.
Giambino. I mean, you remember, Jason Giambi was always different. You can't get mad at Giambi. At least I couldn't.
855-212-4CBS. All right. Good ones all around. The great debate question today, the most must-see baseball player of all time. It's opening day eve. We're almost there, guys. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Great debate day. Most exciting baseball player. Actually, let's not say it that way. It's not the most exciting baseball player you've ever seen. It's a player you wish you could have seen or did see. So you could go history. You can go all the way back to the 1870s and Red Stocking McGee or whatever. Remember when they all had weird names?
Yeah.
I went with Ken Griffey, who I did see, and he was spectacular. Maggie?
I went with Pedro, and I'm the only one who picked a pitcher on this list.
Yes.
Which is crazy. EJ?
I went with Bo Jackson.
Pete Pilati is chewing.
PT. Yeah, I'm actually so.
He went Sammy Sosa, and Andrew Bogish, will speak for him, went with Josh Gibson.
I thought, Chicks Dig the Long Ball, that famous Braves commercial. Nobody pays to see the pitchers. You pay to see the home runs.
Oh man, I love a great pitching matchup. I always feel so because especially sometimes you can try your hardest to make sure you're getting the right pitching matchup, to make sure you're at the ballpark. But a lot of times you have to leave it till the last second or the last couple days if a guy's dealing with an injury or something like that, or the rotation can get messed up. And so it feels a little more like stars sometimes aligning. And you just get there to the ballpark, you're seeing a great pitcher, and you have. I picked Pedro Martinez. I know I've got 8 innings.
Of what? Don't you want to see home runs?
Might see 15 strikeouts.
I know. I'm going to see. I'm going to see a variety of pitches. I'm going to see guys looking silly. I'm going to see. I love that part of the greatness.
Baseball does not feel that way.
Listen, the quick dopamine hit of watching one home run, give me the whole game.
So do you like the mid-range jumper in basketball? Are you a big fan of the screen pass in football? You don't like the home runs? What are you doing?
I don't think that anyone would say Pedro Martinez was the mid-range jumper of baseball pitchers.
I don't know. I mean, if I was going to go pitcher, it's got to be a 103-mile-an-hour fastball guy like Randy.
Well, let's go to the phones because Kurt is in Arkansas, does have a flamethrower on as his most must-see Major League Baseball star. Good morning, Kurt. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, I had the opportunity to see Nolan Ryan pitch 5 times. I lived 7 miles from Arlington Stadium, and I actually got to see him pitch his 7th no-hitter.
Wow.
My first time I saw him was August 10th, 1989. He had a no-hitter going into the 9th inning and had 14 strikeouts and gave up a bloop single. Not only with Nolan Ryan, his records will never be broken with strikeouts. You never knew from one game to the next if he was going to have a no-hitter, have 15 strikeouts. But the guy was beating up guys like Robin Ventura. He was taking a line drive to the mouth from Bo Jackson, had to get stitched up and was still out there pitching. And it was like you were going back in time to the 1800s, seeing a real cowboy going out there and showing these modern guys that the old man can still do it. And there's nothing like him.
You know, Kurt, it's amazing. Great call, Nolan Ryan, and the longevity, how he kept the speed, the velocity rather, late into his career. Unreal. Adam is in Vancouver, has got another one. We're doing the great debate, the most must-see baseball players of all time. Adam, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good. Who do you have for us?
I can't believe no one said this yet, but I got to go Jackie Robinson.
It's a great one. I mean, how electric was Jackie, right?
Exactly, and this is a hill that I will die on. I never hear anyone say it either. 42, probably one of the best sports movies ever made.
Oh, interesting.
Chadwick Boseman, right? Yeah.
Adam, thank you so much for that. I mean, here's the thing about Bogish had Josh Gibson, who was obviously a Negro League player that never made it, that never got to the pros because of the time he was playing in. Jackie breaks the color barrier, and he gets remembered for that, obviously, and now his jersey's retired. But he actually also, not just breaking the color barrier, was beyond exciting player from what we know of Jackie Robinson.
Stealing home.
Yeah.
That's one of the great highlights of all time. By the way, talking about pitchers, I'm looking at the best-selling jerseys of last season. You know how many pitchers are on that list? One. His name's Shohei Ohtani. Then there's 20 home run hitters in a row. The kids dig the long ball. Give me Ellie De La Cruz. I don't need to see efficient pitching.
Pedro
going
was
first to third to 4 seconds. That's what you need.
Pedro was spectacular.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
But also it's you make him out to be like the fifth man on the Pittsburgh Pirates squad.
Still, I mean, I don't know. I want to see the big home run hitters. I don't want to see Blake Snell or whatever. I'm just not as into that.
Yeah, Blake Snell, not Pedro. Blake Snell's a good player, not Pedro. And I like seeing the big home run hitters look silly. I like the person who beguiles that person. Yeah,
I like seeing Reggie Jackson hit a home run and highlight.
This is Perloff in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Perloff loves
Slam
home
dunks.
runs, slam dunks. Vince Carter, your favorite player.
Oh, yeah.
You
I love the long ball in football. Oh, man, nothing better.
Tom Brady system quarterback. Just no time for Tom Brady.
Tom Brady giving you these little over-the-middle 8-yard passes to a running back. Not for me.
There's a theme. I'm just saying. You're consistent with your fandom.
I'm like a child. And
yes.
I think simple is the word Maggie wants to use here. You're simple.
I said consistent.
You know who else is like me? Every sports fan. Do you think anybody wants to see a mid-range jumper, DeMar DeRozan? No, give me Zion Williamson flying through the rafters.
I can't wait till we do our next great debate.
I still can't get
Best
over
mid-range jumpers.
I can't get over Blake Snell being put in the same conversation as Pedro Martinez.
Not the same.
I don't know. I was trying to think of a good pitcher. Who actually?
Randy Johnson?
Yeah, who's a must-see pitcher now?
I wanted to go with DeGrom. I was afraid I was going to be accused of being a homer. He really was unreal to watch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, MLB needs DeGrom there to sell tickets. Come on. No one's buying. How many pitchers are getting 9 games anyway? So what's the difference here?
This is only spoken by someone who's never watched DeGrom in person. It would change your mind.
And I will say, too.
That's not true. I went to a Phillies-Mets game when DeGrom was pitching, and I didn't care. I wanted to see a homer. I wanted to see Bryce go long.
Well, I'm sure it didn't happen because DeGrom was on the mound.
That's just we got
being destroyed. Or got hurt.
or one of those two things. I will say, we talk about Pedro. That clip we played of him at that All-Star game was maybe the most exciting thing that happened all of that season. Like him striking out those 4 guys in '99, McGuire, Sosa, Larry Walker. I mean, that moment, you're talking about an All-Star game where we're expecting home runs, we're expecting big offense, and he completely stole the show.
We will get back to your phone calls in a moment. See you guys want to get in on this great debate question, the most must-see baseball star of all time. Andrew Bogish is here. He's got headlines.
But by the way, it's not like Blake Snell's chopped liver. The guy's got 2 Cy Young awards, but please go ahead. And Pedro only has 3.
Want to do a conversation about Pedro and Blake Snell?
I'm just saying, it wasn't like you
different.
said fifth starter, a little different. It's not like I can't name a 5th starter in today's MLB, but whoever that guy is, Blake Snell's better than him.
Go Pedro year to year, and then go Blake Snell year to year.
Yeah.
The highs are high, the lows low. Bogish is here with that.
It's never good when your heroes fight, but here's Boogie Cousins and Rajon Rondo arguing over John Calipari's job security at Kentucky. This is from their Bully Ball podcast.
I don't understand how we get to the point where our next best option is to replace this coach. That doesn't even make with what revenue is going to go down.
I never said replace him.
Everything that Calipari brings to a program is going to go down if they replace this guy. Everything is going down.
I disagree with that. It is UK. It is the brand. It is Duke.
So who would you bring? Who would you bring?
I never said fire Cal.
Here's more now from Rondo on why Cal or Kentucky would be okay post-Cal.
You just said it's University
just
of
win
Kentucky.
The championship.
Don't
just win the
disrespect
championship.
University of Kentucky,
I never will. I never will.
It's been one of the greatest colleges of all time.
100%.
Way before Cal got there.
100%.
So it ain't just he didn't just go come there and set the standard that it's winning basketball now. It been that.
Nah, it wasn't. When I got there, it wasn't. It was down. It was down.
Boy, how many championships they got? How many championships they got?
I'm talking about when I got. I'm talking about when I got there.
and specifically the head coach at that time.
Championship a bust with Billy Gillespie? What are we talking about?
Listen, that was a bad hire that was a bad hire.
So
period.
like I said, when I got there, the standard wasn't championship. When we got there, it was championship or bust.
It still was Kentucky basketball.
Billy Gillespie catching shrapnel
on
a Wednesday. This debate did end last night when AD Mitch Barnhart said Cal was keeping his job in the wake of the Oakland upset. He did not specifically mention that looming $33 million buyout.
The only thing is in the SEC, $33 million buyout is like, meh.
By the way, that would have been paid in a wire transfer and no bank would have freaked out about it.
The bank would have just been there nodding their heads.
We get it.
I think it's also the time of the year. There's not an easy alternative. There's not like somebody, great guy's going to come in right now. I mean,
no.
I don't know
still
who
the
they
Kentucky
get.
job. You can probably hire somebody out of a job to take the Kentucky job, but does anybody, would you want to sign up for that? Unless you win the whole thing every year, it's a failure and an entire state hates you.
Follow Coach Cal. Yeah, I'll pass.
I think it's actually an enticing job because, like Boogie Cousins did say, I mean, it was really kind of bad with Clyde Gillespie. It did not go well, and they were not making tournaments. Like here, the cupboard is not bare. I mean, there's plenty of excitement, there's plenty of engagement, a lot of money. Like all you gotta do is win a couple more tournament games, and Cal, who's getting bounced in the first round, I'd take that shot.
I think people don't get the whole concept that it's not like it's the NBA where you're just replacing a coach. You're replacing a guy that's your organization. That's somebody that's recruiting, that's bringing players here. He's essentially the coach, the GM, the whole thing. And you're basically changing your entire program if you take him out. Now, do you want to do that now, or you want to wait and give it another shot and start getting the wheels turning? Because that's going to be more than just, all right, we're going to put someone in place. We got to find somebody that can do it.
I mean, that's a great question with all the Boeheims and the Coach K's and the Roy Williams are the next. Maybe they will, but I think Pete's exactly right. It's hard to replace a guy like that. Lot going on there.
A lot of work to it.
Honestly, Scott Drew could probably win more at Baylor than he could at Kentucky right now.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, I think it's hard to win in today's setup.
But I think Cal really unlocked something that wasn't really there at Kentucky. I think it's going to be a great case to see what happens with different sport, but Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, kind of the same deal. Alabama was down so bad, and Nick Saban comes, and yes, we could say that figure is gone, and a lot comes with that. But also, the state of the program is so much better. It would be a lot easier for somebody to follow this legend as opposed to following when Alabama or Kentucky was down. And it's a credit to Cal that he got Kentucky up the way they are, but I just don't think you're walking into a place where you're like, all right, there's nothing here. We've been losing for 5 seasons, and now I got to try to turn this, I got to be Indiana basketball, a team that has been irrelevant, try to make them relevant. I think it's easier to do this than, like, again, an Indiana or UCLA kind of deal.
Well, look at Danny Hurley took over eventually for Calhoun. That wasn't totally easy.
Well, Kevin Ollie won a championship.
Right. Sorry, Ollie. But it's I think Syracuse, for example, like I can't ever see them being Boeheim again.
But that's a great example.
Or Michigan State with Izzo. I can't ever see that being replicated.
But I think the Syracuse example is a great example because that is he's basically describing the Clyde Gillespie situation. I mean, Syracuse was not good in those last few years with Boeheim. They weren't getting recruits. There wasn't the same kind of engagement. Boeheim was just fighting the media every 2 weeks. Like, that was a lot different than where Kentucky is now. They are losing in the tournament, but they are highly ranked. They are getting good recruits. There is a lot of money in the program. So we are seeing the struggles for Syracuse this year. I think they're going to continue to see that. It might be different with Kentucky because Kentucky is just way further along as a program than Syracuse is.
They just told you with this move that the boosters or the collective or whatever is still behind Calipari. So clearly, I think that was the difference. I think at Syracuse, it had started. I know there's one really big donor up there, but I think they started to get a little bit of a wandering eye. I think everyone's still behind Cal. I know the fan base might be a little more hurt and split and chafed, but I think he just showed he still has a lot of power. Sorry, Bogish.
The Mavericks and Kings got together last night in Sacramento, tied for 6th in the West. Dallas broke that tie with ease.
Kyrie, rise and fire for 3. Hit it! And a timeout by Mike Brown. It's a big third quarter for Kyrie Irving. He's got 10 already in the quarter, and the Mavericks have their biggest lead of the night.
And they kept rolling to a 132-96 rout on the Kings floor. The highlight from Chuck Cooperstein, Mavs Radio. Kyrie scored 24. Luka had 28. Their team has won 5 in a row. The Lakers took a thriller in Milwaukee, 128-124 in double OT without LeBron. LA was down 19 in the fourth. Anthony Davis had 34 and 23 in 52 minutes, so he's out now until May. Maggie's old friend, former Bills corner Tre'Davious White, expected to sign a 1-year deal with the Rams. And the Rangers accomplished a lot last night.
Throw check back to Fox. He's got room. He scores! There it is! Adam Fox wins it in overtime. Peter Laviolette's 800th career win as a head coach in the NHL. And the Rangers are in the playoffs.
Sam Rosen on MSG TV. History for the head coach. The first team to clinch a playoff spot this season, all courtesy of a 6-5 home win over the Flyers, who are from Philly. So they suck in general. Guys, back to you.
I think it was 7 goals in the third period. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Crazy. Okay, thank you. We see you guys on the phones. Keep them coming. Our great debate today, the most must-see baseball player, baseball star of all time. We also have Green Bay quarterback making some bold declarations. We get to that next. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Wednesdays around here, we do the great debate, which is today's the most must-see Major League Baseball star of all time. We're on opening day eve, everybody. Like 2.0, because technically the Dodgers and the San Diego Padres already opened the season, but you know what I mean. Bob is in Cleveland. Bob, the most must-see Major League Baseball star of all time was who?
Well, I got to say, I went to see so many games in Cleveland in the 90s, and I loved my Cleveland baseball team. But when the Mariners came into Cleveland and Randy Johnson was on the mound, that was must-see. I mean, who else do you get to see that hits a bird and feathers go flying like a pillowcase?
And that made him listen, there's a lot of things about Randy Johnson, Bob, that made him a folk hero. That was definitely one of them. That was a spring training game where he hit the bird. I mean, Randy Johnson was just the overpowering. He's 6'10", right? I mean, the lefty, and just, if you just want to see domineering, that is the guy for you.
Yeah, I remember when John Kruk in the All-Star game didn't want to face him and bailed out. Yeah, he was the most intimidating pitcher I've ever seen. Didn't see a ton of Nolan Ryan, but Nolan Ryan had better. I mean, coming lefty to a left-handed hitter, can you imagine? He's basically, when he's done with his delivery, he's at the plate. He's so gigantic.
Yeah, I know. He's like on top of you. Bill in California has one. Hey, Bill, how are you? Bill.
Hello. Kind of asleep at the wheel here.
Don't be really asleep at the wheel.
The guy I most liked was the guy that I saw break into minor league baseball in San Diego. His name was Minnie Minoso.
Yeah, I mean, Minnie Minoso, just know him, but never obviously got to see him play because it was so much before our time. What was he like?
Yeah,
what was the number one thing?
Well, I got to see him play in San Diego when he was, in the minors.
Sure.
And that's what got me interested in baseball. And the guy could just hit, run, just do everything, and if you look him up on Wikipedia, you'd be amazed at how many times he led the American League in doubles, triples, bases stolen, and things like that, and didn't get into the Hall of Fame until just a few years ago.
Yeah, so I saw that. Yeah, the one of those. It's a shame. Bill, thank you so much for the phone call. Minnie Minoso, one of the great Cuban players, but going way, way back. Played in the Negro Leagues too, I believe, Minnie Minoso. So, okay, we have keep those coming, by the way. The most must-see baseball star of all time. It's our great debate. Perloff, we also, it's March Madness around here. And while there may not be any games right now, that does not mean that our Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders sleeps. It never sleeps.
Yeah, and these songs will be playing in your head, in your sleep, unfortunately.
Yes, you will never sleep again because you'll be playing these songs in your head. The Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders. We are on to the round of 32 in the cruising region. So let's get to it. Number 1 overall seed in this region is Take On Me. And that is taking on the 8th seed who advanced in this tournament. This is a big, a bit of an upset. It's Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something.
I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany's? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think.
Now that beat Don't Worry, Be Happy in the first round, and I disagree with the results there, but nonetheless, we soldier on. The 5th seed in the Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders. This is the cruising region. 5th seeded Electric Avenue advances.
Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Oh, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue.
And that goes up against what has become the most controversial choice of the entire bracket. Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me.
Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me.
Perloff claims that is not a one-hit wonder. This entire region is under protest because of Perloff.
I mean, if you're going to be allowed to have 2 or 3 hits, then there are a lot of big bands that we didn't get in there. Go ahead.
Coming up, okay, next is the 11th seed. They took out Sex and Candy in the first round to advance. Here is Spirit in the Sky.
To the spirit in the sky. It's where I'm gonna go when I die. When I die and the name to rest, I'm gonna go to the place.
And that takes on the 14 seed. That is Video Killed the Radios. Okay, and final matchup in this bracket of one-hit wonders. We are in the round of 32 in the cruising region. The 7 seed Afternoon Delight advances.
Rockets in flight. Afternoon delight. Afternoon delight.
And they go up, yes?
Anchorman.
I
Just
know.
always stuck in my head. Go ahead.
Goes up against the 15 seed, the Zach Wilson anthem. It is Stacy's Mom. And that is sung by a band called Fountains of Wayne. That was a big upset. Stacy's Mom took out the 2nd seed in this region, which was Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the...
I thought Katrina and the Waves. I thought that was going to be a big one.
I know.
We were talking about making that the new show anthem.
We
But it
still
couldn't
can.
even beat out. Now our show
Maybe.
anthem is Stacy's Mom.
We are looking for some new music, so maybe Stacy's Mom is the one we've been looking for. Okay, so there you have it. You can go to @Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. You can vote to see who makes it through to the Sweet 16.
I mean, we used to be 3 to 6 Eastern. We could have been Afternoon Delight then. I'm not sure that's what you get from the show.
I'll tell you what, the YouTube channel would have been popping if we were calling ourselves Afternoon Delight.
Yeah, and we obviously can't do Electric Avenue because our buddies at Barstool have that for Part of My Take.
Yep.
Take On Me is a pretty good theme song.
So I think, EJ, am I wrong about this? Did we introduce you to Video Killed the Radio Star? Had you ever heard that before?
Maybe. I don't know. That wasn't the song we talked about that I didn't know.
Okay.
But I also didn't know that song until I did this.
Did you know Take On Me?
Yeah, I love Take On Me.
Take On Me. Yeah, that one is persistent. The video helped a lot.
Yeah, it was a cool video.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, you can go to @Maggie and Pearl. You can vote. Whatever you say, user generated, whatever you say gets through to the round, to the Sweet 16. So go ahead and make your voice be known.
Right. Do we still call it One Hit Wonder when Simple Minds had 24 number 1 songs in the UK?
We did not count the UK. All their top 10 hits.
They speak English. What's the difference?
All their top 10 hits in Kazakhstan were not eligible for this particular bracket.
They played Live Aid in 1983.
855-212-4CBS. So much left to do, including we do get to some changes coming in the NFL, and one we despise.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She was the Heisman Trophy winner in 1986. He left her off the ballot. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
The NFL made a ton of changes yesterday. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. And I know that, Perloff, you've got thoughts on which rules and stuff are the best or the worst or whatever. The one thing that they announced yesterday is not actually a rule that I disliked. We can talk about kickoffs and all that stuff till the cows come home. Stop putting games on Christmas when Christmas doesn't fall on a Sunday. I really, really dislike this from the NFL. Listen, they know they've got us. They took Thanksgiving and we all went along with it. And we love Thanksgiving with football. It's become part of like the American experience for sports fans to have football on Thanksgiving. But Christmas to me, you're going out of your way now to capitalize on the fact that people are gathered together and mostly off of work if you can afford to be.
Right.
And I hate, it almost feels like, I know this is crazy because it's an entertainment product, but it's like, you're taking advantage of the fact that people happen to be off of work. And I know that's the point, but it's so, to me, disruptive for family events and gatherings. I absolutely loathe this. And again, I'll say this, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, because of how this holiday is in this country, most people get it off. So even if you're not a religious person or whatever, you generally have time off in this moment.
Everything you're describing sounds good to me. Everyone's got time off. They're with their family. Let's put on a football game.
That's your header now on a Wednesday?
Right. I think you're making the argument everyone's got off from work. It's better to show a football game that everybody wants to watch when people are off from work rather than when they're on work.
Okay. If it's me and it's my team, and the thing is about the NFL is if you have fantasy teams or whatever, almost every game is important. We're also talking about deep into the season, so we might be talking about playoff races and things like that. There's going to be a lot of reasons to watch these games. If this was my team, if this was the Bills, I would loathe this because you want to know why? I've got other responsibilities during this holiday where I'm moving around and I have family that has to be attended to, and you want to make this special for your kids and all of the stuff that maybe where I am specifically in my life. This becomes, I'm not going to be able to watch this with the attention that I would be able to if this was just on the regular schedule, Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of people work on those other days and everyone is home. So I'll bet you there are a lot of people who this situation is better. For you, it might not be, but I think for a lot of people, it's a good situation. And the other thing, I speak for me and a lot of my friends, less time having to talk to weird Uncle Bill, the better off you are. I think the excuse to go to the TV to get away from extended family is a very important thing.
So you think the NFL's doing a service?
I actually don't mind. I didn't love when they had the whole slate on, what was it? This year was it Christmas Eve or Christmas? That was kind of annoying. I think it was Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. I did not like that.
It was both. Well,
yeah, it was both because they're both a week apart. I'm totally fine with more Christmas football. I understand Wednesday is not ideal from a rest standpoint, but the idea of if it's any other day of the week, it's great. I need more football on TV during family events. Any excuse to get away from people and watch football. And listen, how much do you have to say to your family members? Don't you want to go and sit in front of a TV with them? Isn't that the whole point of having football on Christmas?
I don't know. Sometimes you travel long distances,
Yes. Perfect.
And sometimes I think you just don't want the distraction of football because here's the thing, whether I don't want to watch football or not, and I'm like obviously the biggest football fan in my family, even if I said, listen, I can watch this later, I can record it, I can do what I need to do for my job at another time, I know other people are going to want to watch it. I do want to be with my family. I'm sorry if that makes me weird. I'm sorry if I want to be the person who's like, hey, this is special, and maybe because it's partly my job to watch TV, I don't consider that unique or special. I'm always watching football. I get to do that for a living. I get that I'm a privileged position there. But can't we do something where your traditions, your special time, your sacred time with family now gets disrupted because we all got to watch Titans Jags?
Simply, this is the softest take you've ever had in your entire life, Maggie.
no.
I'm disappointed.
Oh, come on,
I'm
dude.
disappointed in you. You want to spend quality time with family instead of watching. I mean, Titans Jags. Take the AFC South. Say we got a Packers Lions game. Oh man, sign me up.
Man,
okay. What if it was another? Is it the Wednesday part or is it the Christmas day? So it sounds like you're not good with any Christmas day.
I don't like the Christmas because here's the thing about it being on a Wednesday. We can talk about that and the disadvantage it could give to teams and the advantage it could give to others in terms of how much rest you have at that time of the year where playoff races are going to be in the field in full view and all of that. But again, that's that's not every year. It doesn't happen all the time. It's a random one. To go out of your way, though, to put this on a Wednesday, it doesn't bolster the whole, player safety or any of that kind of stuff. And we know that rest can be such an advantage or disadvantage, like I said. So I don't love the Wednesday, but I will grant you that's a this year problem. That's not a forever problem.
Right. I think I get excited when I see there's a football game on this. I wake up differently on days where there's an NFL game. And obviously you wake up excited on Christmas morning anyway, but I think this just adds to it. And you're late in the season. Hopefully you won't have a backup quarterback. I am psyched to watch this game. And I hope that my in-laws don't say, "Oh, Andrew, we're serving dinner at 4:00 and you're going to miss the Cowboys." That's sometimes Thanksgiving. I got to admit, sometimes I'll miss chunk of the game. But I still like the option of having it there.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. You're telling me, you're saying this now, come Christmas Day, it's going to be 3:00 and you're going to be so sick of your family. You're going to tune in. And it's going to be the Dolphins versus Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. You're not going to enjoy that game?
No, I'm okay with doing a holiday without football.
I'm not.
So they have Thanksgiving already. It's great. We've given them Thanksgiving. It could be like you're right. You're going to end up missing chunks of the game. Like, it's just impossible.
Heck, I would put a special Arbor Day game if I could. The more football, the better.
So they get Thanksgiving, Christmas now, New Year's, and New Year's Day, obviously, college football, but now the NFL is also impeded on that as well, where I feel like that was really college. That was their territory. I hate the college football playoff when that's on New Year's Eve, and they changed that this year.
New Year's Eve is not ideal. But if they played those games earlier in the day, I'm okay. But Christmas is great.
There's this little thing called time zones. So
Christmas is great. By the way, you never complained about the NBA doing Christmas.
Because I don't think the NBA, no disrespect to the NBA, but that's going to be 1 out of 82. And I know those matchups are great, but the NBA has kind of shot itself in the foot with the load management and everything. I know guys tend to play on Christmas more, but it's not must-see when it's one game of 82. If my football team is in week 14 and we're in a playoff hunt, I have to watch this game, or I feel like I have to watch this game. Family, is going to have to rearrange now around the NFL.
I mean, as someone who's a football fan who has dealt with these Christmas games recently, I've just not watched the day games. I'm just like, sorry, I'm not doing that. Because I think there's a function about Christmas that makes this different that I think we're missing is, number one, you have church obligations for some people, so religion. So it's not like it's not Thanksgiving where it's like, oh, you can just, sit around all day. It's like, all right, let me go over to Lonnie's house, at 3. Like, you're actually doing stuff.
Do we eat at noon? Do we eat at 3?
Yeah, there's some people actually doing stuff all morning. Number one. Number two, there's an aspect of, with Christmas, people are getting gifts. People are planning events. Like Thanksgiving, the whole purpose is to just be around with your family. Christmas actually isn't always that. Christmas sometimes is actually going to see the Rockettes if you're in New York, or going to whatever your local thing is there.
Church, sometimes, we might mention church.
That's the first thing I said. First thing I said was church.
Yeah.
It could be people giving gifts. So it's like, oh, let me try out my gift. That's going on my RV, or that's going out on my motorcycle, or going out on the lake. Like, there are aspects of it that actually say, okay, good, I got my gifts and we're family. Okay, now let's go do stuff.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is not that. So it makes sense to say, okay, well, you're not doing anything at home besides probably avoiding your aunt's questions about when you're getting married. So you say, all right, let me watch a football game to try to get out of that. It's totally different with Christmas. So I think that to me is one of the things that frustrates me is like, football is a commitment. You can't kind of just put it on the background and not be paying attention. So you're telling me I got to pay attention for 6 hours on a day where maybe I want to play my new PS5, or maybe I do want to go on my ATV, like, or I think that's screwed up. Honestly,
you'll find time.
Biladi, where are you on this
6
one?
hours.
Biladi, where are you on this one?
I think that everyone's a bunch of pigs, and I think it's too much. We can't take a break from anything now. Everything's so in your face. I will watch it if it's there, but I'm not making an appointment to watch it unless maybe if it's the Jets. But nah,
that'll go well.
To me, they could have did without doing Christmas, but it's not gonna. I mean, they're taking every other
Perloff can't let just the Jets get mentioned
Wow.
without making.
I mean, the
a
Black
dig.
Friday game I didn't watch.
Oh, good thing you didn't, because did you know that there was a kickoff that turns into a pick
remember
six?
you guys kept texting me and I wasn't texting back, and you're like, he just hasn't texted back, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I wasn't watching.
I'm sorry. It was a Hail Mary
interception
for a pick six.
And a
Javon
Buffalo.
Holland.
Buff Fumble was a holiday too, right?
That was I think, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's why I was saying the Jets. I mean, the Jets might be good, but they have had some tough holiday luck.
I would have kept off of Christmas. And
By the way,
left it to the
if
NBA.
I give you a choice, Black Friday or Black Friday, and that's a problem, is you have to go out shopping. I did not like that game. I remember I was at Primark in the King of Prussia Mall trying to watch a Jets game. That was annoying.
I would take Black Friday over Christmas.
Same.
Because at least Black Friday you're at home. It's not like you're required to go out for the.
But that's the busiest shopping. Most people do.
But it's
a lot of people do online shopping now, and that's
why do you think Amazon wants this game?
It's a realistic thing. We can't act like people are just busting down doors the way they used to. It's
the
totally
mall
different.
is still crazy. We go every year. We go to King of Prussia, the biggest mall in the country, I think, in Philadelphia. It's still a little nuts.
It's not the same as it was 10 years ago.
I'm definitely going to be home on Christmas Day.
But what about Black Friday if they do a game at 3:00? You're still at the mall at 3:00.
I just didn't love the game last year. Maybe it was the matchup. Was it Jets Dolphins?
You don't like the Jets,
right? Yeah, you hate the Jets. So that's part of it. I'm telling you, if it was the Lions and again Lions and Packers, like you said, you would feel a certain way.
No, but I have to be home Christmas Day. I know I'm going to be on my couch Friday at 3:00. There's a good chance I'll be out.
Okay, but that's just your specific schedule, right?
I think more people are home on Christmas Day than Black Friday. I mean, everybody's. Where are you going to go? There's not a single store. Where else are you going to be?
People go to shows. People go to movies. That's a big movie day. We mentioned church earlier, so he's talking about you're doing something in the morning, maybe early afternoon, depending on where you are.
A lot of people have to work Black Friday. I think more people are definitely home.
And like I said, there are people who get gifts who want to then try out their gifts. Like if I get an ATV, I get a skateboard, I get whatever.
Your Christmas sounds like it rocks, by the way. An ATV.
Oh no, I'm trying to talk to America.
Yeah,
people are not getting ATVs out there. That's not.
I would love to get an
How many
ATV.
ATVs do you think are given out on Christmas?
You don't think in Boise, Idaho, or in places in where there's farmland and where there's country that they're not getting ATVs,
no. I think
dirt bikes and things like.
No, I think people have those. I know they do. That's an awesome gift.
Or even just a bike, a skateboard. It doesn't have to even be something like that.
I'll take ATV.
I'll take it too. I'm just saying, if you I know I get gifts that I want to experience. So there are 5 NBA games on. I know Knicks play at noon. All right, I'll tune into the Knicks maybe, and then just kind of peek in every now and then. Basketball is not a kind of game. It's kind of like baseball. I don't think you have to sit there and
watch the whole thing.
Watch the whole thing. I think you can watch for a quarter, watch for 10 minutes, and be fine. NFL is totally different.
I'm watching 8 hours of television, no matter if an NFL game is on or not. I prefer.
Do you get any good gifts, Pearl? What do you get?
No, I'm like a dad. The gifts suck. I just like socks. I don't need to play with my socks.
That's true.
You know what? I'm gonna back up Perloff on this one. I don't want to say the older you get, the more the gifts suck, but.
Yeah, I'm not getting ATVs. I'll tell you that much.
The more you're looking for cash in an envelope.
I get socks, and my in-laws generously give me a Runner's Warehouse gift certificate. There's nothing. No, we're adults. You're not going out and playing with your presents.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just don't think that many people are getting presents that can't be played with in the living room.
I was just thinking about that.
Totally
When's the last time I got something that I had to do immediately?
Yeah, and then you had to go outside for. When's the last time what presents did you get? Oh my gosh, I got What's that?
A bike
for your kids, right? I'm saying when's the last
nobody's
time
giving me
I got
a bike for Christmas.
Yeah, but
I know, but you guys are older adults. I didn't want.
Are you getting a bike for Christmas?
Andrea got me a bike for Christmas 2 years ago. Yeah,
but are you going right outside in the cold?
Yeah, EJ apparently is 8 years old.
I'm sorry,
he needs to get out on his
sorry,
Huffy.
guys. We're in America where there's places in the South where it's nice on Christmas, and or people again. We're talking about ATVs or dirt bikes where they actually do want to go out in the mud. And
we're not disparaging that gift. We're just saying those are big for gifts. I guess my family doesn't.
Christmas.
No, but my family doesn't do. What's an ATV? Is it $5,000? I have no idea. How much does an ATV cost? Let's do prices right.
Does it fit under the tree? Probably not.
I guess it's like I'm seeing $2,000.
I feel like you guys are underestimating how kind of common ATVs are in like non-city land.
I've ridden them, EJ. It's not about
Right.
that. I no one in my family gives each other gifts that are $2,000 on Christmas. Like I didn't get those. We don't go that in my family. We don't go that big.
Right.
Like to Perloff's point, we get a lot of books
Get
and a lot of
Legos are
and then the kids
given in my
get
house.
the kids get stuff and the kids get toys and play kitchens and stuff like that. But it's not about, we know there's ATVs.
Okay.
It's just more about an ATV as a Christmas present. That's not something that's in my world. Someone getting someone else that big of a gift wouldn't happen in my world.
Like the big bow over the Lexus. That's not happening either.
That is about to say. You had me thinking it comes over the mountain through the snow.
Oh, and then I love the ones where there's two in the driveway. Like, who's do that?
How about the one that plays all the time where the dad thinks the Lexus is for him or whatever car it is, and the son's like, oh, now I have to give it to you. I'm like, dude, you don't have to give it to me. Your dad thought it was for him. Right. It's a Mercedes, I think.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to give me a Mercedes for Christmas, I'm down. I'll skip the NFL if that's the case.
Or a mansion. Buy me. I'll take a mansion.
855-212-4CBS. Now I want to go to EJ's for Christmas. You're getting bikes over there? I want
EJ, you don't even drive.
Andrea.
Where is this ATV coming from?
I'm trying to speak for non-me, okay? Like I'm trying to think outside the box and say, okay, first of all, again, there are things I get that I may get a new phone, I may get a new headphones, I may get a new video game, I may get PS5. I don't want to have to sit and watch football for 6 hours. I know that because I feel like every year the NBA does it, and I know, okay, there's a lot of stuff I want to do with these gifts I just got.
I understand.
Let me give me an hour or two in the game, and then I'll go do what I want to do for the rest of the day.
I just think it's quite a narrow take to say the NFL should not schedule games on Christmas Day so people can go out and drive their new ATVs. I mean, maybe some people. I just don't think you're talking millions of people.
I started with skateboards, boats. I started with bikes. It's beyond just that.
That's funny. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Doubleheader on Christmas on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let us know.
Is it interrupting your off-road time?
These are the important questions that need to be answered. Again, 855-212-4CBS. You can also go and you can hit us up on social media if you want to, at Maggie and Pearl. If you go there, you will find a couple things. You will find our great debate question of the day, the most must-see baseball player of all time, as it is opening day eve. We also have our Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders, March Madness, Maggie and Perloff style. You can go vote to see who makes it through to the Sweet 16 in the cruising region. Lots of ways to get in touch with the show on social media at Maggie and Pearl, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio, or give us a call, 855-212-4CBS.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Heated debate here. Do you like having 2 NFL games on Christmas Day? I'm fine with it. More NFL, the better. Maggie thinks it interrupts with family activities. Yeah, EJ says it interrupts with his ability to play with his toys. Now, technically, that's true. Adult toys, not little kid toys.
Yeah, let's clear that up here.
Yeah. And not when I say adult toys, I meant like, anyway, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Electronics.
Please.
Yes, a PS5.
Yeah.
EJ claims that everyone's getting
electronics.
Yeah. Again, EJ claims everyone's getting ATVs and they have to go outside and use them. Here are the most popular gift categories last year. Number 1, clothing. You could get a new sweater and watch a football game. That's no problem. Number 2, gift cards, which is a growing phenomenon. And then
I love them.
Yeah, but then you forget to use them, and the company is just making so much money off of that. 3, toys. So toys, you might need to go outside. 4, books, video games, and other media. I think this is EJ doesn't want his video game time ruined by having to watch a Dolphins game. And 5 is food and candy, which fits perfectly. So I think you can do most of these things except video games and watch football at the same time.
I know that, again, we can. This is just about preference. I don't love on a Wednesday. If it's Sunday and actually falls on the schedule, okay, everyone's in their rhythm here. But to go out of your way to put them on a Wednesday just because, people are going to be home.
And if we're really going to get into this gift thing, and I know you guys, Maggie you will deal with this. So I'm actually going to put Maggie in here. There are times where you get your kids a gift like it's a wiffle ball thing.
Right.
Or it's a football.
Right.
They're not going to do it on their own if you have a single kid. So you have to then, hey, let's throw a ball in the backyard. Like, there are
What do you have, a
aspects.
7-hour catch? You can fit that in at halftime.
I'm saying,
Your
but
arms
like, bro,
stay
you act like this thing
tired
was like,
by
oh, like, okay, we're gonna do this for 5 minutes, and I'm gonna go watch football for 7 hours. Like, not everybody wants to do that. Like, some people like want the break. They want to see their kids play whatever they got.
No,
like,
there's nobody like that. You don't have kids there. There's not a single person who wants to see their kid play wiffle
2
ball.
feet of snow with fielding grounders.
Yeah, when I was a kid, Dad threw me the wiffle ball and said, "Go out there and have fun." He's not coming out there and throwing me a curve.
Well, Josh in Arkansas agrees with EJ on this one. Hey, Josh, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I 100% agree. That's the best day to guarantee I get to spend time with my kids outside, open their new gifts, shoot their new guns, or ride their four-wheelers. Every year on Christmas, it's one of my happiest moments to where I can just spend the entire day relaxing with my kids. And it doesn't matter what it is. We go fishing. We pick up football games with, relatives or whatever. It's just about being there the one day of the year guaranteeing that I got my kids' attention. Because there's so many distractions in this world. This is the day that I get to guarantee that I get to spend all day fishing, hunting, riding four-wheelers. Doesn't matter. And they're not going to cost you $2,000. You get around Christmas time, you can find some Joe Blow down the road selling a four-wheeler for $500. You can go buy it.
Hey, Joe.
So
they called me a madman.
I actually agree. You just got to get out and spend time with your children because there's too many distractions for these kids.
Josh, I agree. I agree with you. I don't like this on Christmas because I want to spend time with family, whether it's your kids or whatever. And thank you for the phone call. It's just, it's funny though. It's like, it's the one day Josh said where you have your kids' attention. And as a parent, I get that because I've just bribed them for their attention because I'm giving them all these gifts. It's funny.
No, it's a fun activity to do with your kids.
Josh's house.
Yeah, a fun activity to do with your kids. Plop them in front of that TV and say, "Hey, we got Dolphins are 4.5-point underdogs. What do you think, Billy? Let's go for it.
9 hours of football. Let's go."
Yeah,
that's having at eBay's house.
Yeah, that's what we all do with our dads is watch football. I mean, yeah, it's nice to go fishing. That sounds great. But first of all, what's happening the other 364 days, Josh?
Well, this is the time when everyone can be together. And I didn't know you could get a deal on an ATV like that. I live in the burbs, guys. I don't live in the city. I live in
ATV.
I live in ATV country.
Yeah.
I think I'm in a strong majority. Yes, nuclear family is fun on Christmas, but spending time with your extended family, do you people really want to spend time with your extended family? Isn't everyone's extended family crazy?
Yeah, and can I also point out, too, that you don't have to watch the game on Christmas. It can be there. You can still go outside with your kids and shoot your guns and drive your ATVs and play your video games or your wrestling figurines. Like, you can do all those things.
Okay.
Why do you point at Pete?
Because I was talking about Pete with the wrestling. That's a direct shot.
I was
like, it's okay to not watch an NFL game. It's on TV. You're not required to watch it.
Wait, what?
I got Bobby Heenan the other day.
I do not know of what you speak.
Wait, I don't understand. Let's see, 2:00 on Christmas Day. You guys are all outside doing the activities. Get out of here. You're home. You're watching. You're probably cruising through Netflix.
No,
There's no way America's out there doing all these active things.
This is where Perloff tries to get everybody on his side.
It is my side. No.
We're telling you, it's like, yes, do people have crazy people in their family? Yes. We still like spending time with our family. You're like, no. You don't. Like, yes,
honestly,
we do.
You're telling me there are people out there who'd rather do anything than sit in front of a TV and watch football? I think I'm right here. Nobody's going outside and playing wiffle ball and fishing. Why do you think Roger Goodell's like, well, we got the wiffle ball crowd. Let's not put the game here. He knows 30 million people would rather just sit on their couch. I feel like more people are like Homer Simpson and me. We just want to sit on our couch and watch TV. That's what you end up doing on Christmas.
Yeah.
Maybe you watch Home Alone. I mean, it's not like, I'm sorry, I'm a pretty active person. At 3:00 on Christmas Day, I'm not out there doing any playing badminton with the kids. It's just not happening.
Hey, look, I'm watching
Dad of the year.
I'm watching the Yule log and playing some volleyball. Come on. What I want to do.
That's a fun image.
And also,
what do you do on Christmas then?
Watch TV.
Is it NBA?
Let's see, Christmas. So we. Okay.
When is that again?
Christmas Eve, we have to go to my brother-in-law's, and then we come home, and then Christmas morning we do the presents. It's all wrapped up by noon.
Didn't you murder chickens with your sister last Christmas? Was that when that happened?
And then my sister, when she has a party, it's all time. And there's nothing better than she has a gigantic feast, and we all sit around and watch football. It's amazing.
And she has a farm where she
kills the chickens.
Yeah.
No big thing. Just
So
snap
it's
their
like
neck.
Merry Christmas.
Hi to the chickens and then eating the chickens like 4 hours
Yeah,
later.
I mean, you think you guys have it tough on Christmas. Those chickens really have it tough.
You know what? You're right. We didn't think about the chickens.
Ho, ho, ho.
They do have it worse.
I can watch Broncos Raiders first, then snap their neck.
Yes, it totally disrupts the order of things.
I just can't wait till this Christmas Day game. And I just want you guys to all send me photos of what you're doing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be sitting in front of a TV.
Man, I'm buying ATVs just for the picture.
Yeah.
You head over, you call up Josh and find a deal in Arkansas.
I know.
In reality, it's probably grabbing some child and pulling them out of some room after they're going crazy over some toy. That's what's probably happening.
A lot of sugar in the mix too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And daddy and mommy haven't eaten anything in the day.
Honestly, if it's 3 o'clock on Christmas Day, how many glasses in am I in by that time?
Hopefully.
I'd like to be asleep. I want a Christmas Day nap at 3 p.m.
Wow.
Well, if you start drinking at 11.
You might get that habit. Just keep your arm loose. 3 hours of wiffle ball is on the horizon there for Mr. Bogan.
No, I
Ride
can't
your
throw.
ATV
I've got my
afterwards.
golf tennis elbow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the IL.
Ride your ATV afterwards up that giant hill by your house.
Hey, by the way, what's up with the epidemic of weird elbow injuries happening on this side of the road?
Old age.
Yeah.
I actually have no problem. It's just, again, trying to make a connection.
Oh, you should.
My new way in. Oh, my elbow hurts too, buddy.
Wow. Also, golfer's elbow, even though you haven't picked up a pair of golf clubs in a decade.
I by
I'm
start,
also home alone a lot.
Start with a new physical therapist today. If anyone wants to go with me, it's around the corner.
What's her name?
I don't know if it's a guy or girl.
Okay.
I'm going to walk in.
I don't know
Our
if it's a
boss
doctor.
recommended this place. So,
What did you say?
I don't know if it's a doctor. Go back to the
Oh, yeah. Are you sure it's not just like some kind of warehouse, considering the quack doctors you used to go to?
Question.
oh, yeah. No,
Is that what
I
the
went.
signs on his car is your PT?
I went to big time corporate for that very reason. I didn't go to Google. I asked around.
There we go.
Last time Perloff went to a weird doctor and got a rash from a homemade hot tub.
He went 8 times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
sorry.
picked up numerous issues and continued to go 8 times.
Healed my ankle.
Did it?
Yeah.
It gave everyone else the bubonic plague, but sure, it healed your ankle.
Right.
Sorry,
So-
humanity.
Because of that experience, I went full corporate here. I have one of the biggest PT companies in America. It's probably going to be a soulless experience. I'm probably going to go back to the kook again.
At least you were getting a really tailored experience when you went to the quacky, kooky guy.
Well, here's my question. When you go into a PT and you have 3 or 4 body parts that are injured, I have a prescription for my knee. Can I also ask them to work on the side on my elbow? Is that
I'm
weird?
sure they get that
Then
all
you should
the
just
time.
go to Dr. Rock then and have him work on your elbow.
No, he's a foot doctor.
I know, but
Yeah, no.
but just have him work on your elbow then.
I see what you're saying. Just
Yeah.
any old doctor?
Right. Yeah, you
While
know
I'm
him.
here, do you generally do that with doctors? Like, I know you're a proctologist, but can you mind taking a look in this eye infection?
Actually-
Dr. Pepper, my elbow hurts as well.
Yeah, by the way, you guys, I offered you Dr. Positano's hockey tickets and there was no interest.
No, we just can't. We can't figure out a date.
You better hurry up.
I know.
You guys are too busy taking the kids out to play wiffle ball?
Yeah.
Prepping for Christmas.
That's
yeah.
right.
There you go. So
You're too busy ATV shopping.
It's a months-long preparation. Got to save up that money for that ATV.
Whatever. EJ, we're all going to your house for Christmas. This sounds
No.
like the Price is Right going on.
We
in the
get to play
Stewart
video
household.
games.
Well, the one problem with my Christmas is it doesn't start till like noon. That's when everybody wakes up.
Oh.
I get
yeah.
carry that 72-inch TV.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm going to figure out a way to get the jet ski home that's going on.
On top of the car.
I figured this all out mid segment. You just want to play video. You want to play your new video game. So you're annoyed that there's an NFL game. Is that what's going on?
That's part of it, but not all of it.
Bogus has headlines. Hello.
The Spurs beat anybody without Wemby. The Lakers won in Milwaukee without LeBron. Nothing makes sense anymore. Last night, the Bucks had all their good players, had a 19-point fourth quarter lead, and they let Austin Reeves beat them.
D'Angelo Russell with the ball for the Lakers. Russell to Reeves, open for 3. Good! Austin Reeves puts the Lakers up by 3.
John Ireland on Lakers radio. Reeves, 29 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists in the 128-124 thriller. Anthony Davis chipping in 34 points, 23 boards in 52 minutes. Doc Rivers says he had 34 minutes to fix his team and couldn't do it.
Honestly, I thought it started in the beginning of the third. You know, I just never thought we reached
the intensity level that we had for the first half.
Oh, they're cooked. The Lakers have won
that definitely won a
4
title.
in a row. They remain 2.5 games clear of the Warriors for 9th out west, with Golden State winning in Miami last night, 113-92. The Thunder scored the final 12 points of the game to win in New Orleans, 119-112. And the Mavs hammered the Kings in Sacramento, 132-96, to break their tie for 6th in the West. If you needed a Jimmer Fredette fix or were simply wondering where he was these days, the Paris Olympics have come to the rescue. Jimmer apparently picked for the U.S. 3-on-3 team to play in Paris this summer. The rest of the foursome is Canyonberry, Rick's son. He played in the G League for a bit, plus 3-on-3 vets Kareem Maddox and Pete's favorite, Dylan Travis.
Wait, I've got a question for you.
Please.
So this is our Olympic team 3-on-3.
Correct.
We couldn't get someone younger than Jimmer Fredette. He's 35.
I can't speak to the player pool for Olympic 3-on-3 hoops.
3-on-3 it's only half court, right? So you don't necessarily need youth. Maybe that's the argument.
That's true.
Okay. I guess
3-on-3 is
then
a
the
much
problem,
different
though, is
sport.
it's a half court. So, like, Jimmer is known for his unlimited range. Does that even help you in a 3-on-3?
maybe he had unlimited range at 25.
I think shooting's a big deal. I play with some 3-on-3 guys.
Yeah.
I can, when I say play with, I'm on the same court sometimes. It's much more of a shooter's game, and you don't have to be nearly as athletic.
Okay, but we have the NBA is full of shooters who are currently the NBA, who are American, who might not be good enough to make the Team
actual
USA.
team, the 12-on-12 team.
But what about a couple left over?
But the women's 3-on-3 teams, those are like WNBA
NBA
players.
people, that's what I'm talking about.
Kelsey Plum was definitely on it.
Yeah, she played on it last time.
Right, that's why I'm like, I know disrespect to Jimmer Fredette, upstate New York legend, but we don't have anybody else in the pipeline.
In all seriousness, couldn't the IOC call Ice Cube and have him?
But isn't that like
big three?
Isn't that like Katino Mobley and Sharif Abdur-Rahim and retired players?
They're way older, but so's Jimmer.
Yeah, I don't think any like active players do 3-on-3.
I would also say that it's possible that you can't be in the NBA and play in this. Is there a way that they've limited who could play 3-on-3? Like, I'm sure other countries are not putting in because it would be easy otherwise to like throw Miles Turner and some leftover guys in that 3-on-3 and just dominate it.
Jimmer's not going to want to match up with him.
But wouldn't it be awesome, though, then to have, like, maybe your college guys or young guys playing this? Like, maybe it's not NBA guys. Maybe it's Reed Shepherd of Kentucky or
Dalton
Zach
Connect.
Edey, Dalton Connect. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be cool.
Reed connected his big 3 points in that loss. I don't know. I'd rather see
You
Jimmer.
said Reed Connect?
Reed Shepherd. I'd rather have Jimmer than those guys. Jimmer's perfect for 3-on-3 because you don't need to run up and down the court. That was
but it
always
could
his
help
problem.
college hoops.
Right, but it'd be a platform for these guys to play overseas. And,
they would probably get killed, though, because they're too young, right? I think
if we can't beat Serbia in 3-on-3.
Serbia will kill. If
Those
you
guys
put
are
out
smoking
college
cigs
players
during that game.
Yeah, those guys.
No, they got all their best guys playing in the main.
These guys have been through wars. They're going to kill Reed Shepherd.
Killing on the team.
Yeah, that's it. 3-on-3, you can afford to smoke too. They're fine.
We should do celebrities of each place.
Oh, I like that.
That's a good idea.
Wait, each country sends their best celebrities,
That's
like it's
right.
Rock and Jock or something?
Like Novak Djokovic plays basketball for Serbia?
That's exactly.
What they should do is they should send people who have played basketball in movies or in music videos
I like
and
that.
have those people play 3-on-3.
So not even like J. Cole, who's a good basketball player.
Send like Wesley Snipes.
Like
they should spend people like that. Unfortunately, Hernan Gomez is an NBA player,
but he's Spain, so we can't get him.
Yeah, no, and I'm saying but every country
He
should
looks
take
so
people
good
like
at that movie, by the way. Like he
I
looks
know,
like the
Maggie.
best basketball player of all time.
Stop drooling over.
That part too. No, I meant his skills.
Oh yeah. You did say several times, man. That Hernan Gomez is a handsome guy. You said that. Yeah. I keep calling him Bo Cruz. Bo Cruz. Yeah, I like this celebrity idea. I think Pete's on to something.
Yeah, send Woody Harrelson. That'll be great.
You know what's going to end up happening is somehow Drake is going to get it. Oh no, he's Canadian, so he'd have to be on their team.
Oh, I would love that. We could crush him. Crush Drake.
Just trying to think of other celebrities who will kind of work their way.
He would carpetbag his way somehow on Team USA.
Yeah, I was going to say. He's not going to be denied.
Morgan Freeman. That'd be great.
Freeman's like 80.
Well, he could do commentary during the game. Yeah, he could call. Say anything, and it sounds great.
Well, look, if Spain gets Hernan Gomez, then we should get Ray Allen.
Definitely. Jesus Shuttlesworth?
A little older.
I think he's probably still better than Hernan Gomez.
How about JJ Redick? He always wants to annoy us, so let's put him in the.
Hey, by the way, do you have another idea for the JJ LeBron
thank
James
you for
podcast?
asking me. Yes, I do on my list. Let's go to.
By the way, this is if Pete Bellotti was the producer of the LeBron James JJ Redick podcast. He would want them to talk about anything but basketball.
Right.
So we asked him to make a rundown, a fake rundown, like a mock-up of what the topics he would want them to cover if he produced that show.
So one day they would do a Fogo de Chao beer test. So we would throughout the entire show they would have slabs of meat and have copious amounts of beer at the same time to see if it works. So.
And then play basketball, or just sit there?
Sit there
on
and
horseback.
Talk about betting. The topic would be betting. Would be
okay.
Ohtani betting. That would be one segment. We'd have Pete Rose on as a guest, and then they would also do 10 safe bets that they can all make. And it would be a betting show, but they would have that running gag with Fogo de Chao and the beer throughout the whole show, and they would do it at a casino for that day.
Okay.
Some conflicts there, but yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I do.
It's entertaining. That's all you care about.
It's just funny that it would start with Shohei's scandal. It's like, and now we're going to talk about it.
Now here's Pete Rose.
LeBron talking to Pete Rose would actually be really funny. Like, how is that conversation going?
A lot of Ohio talk.
Yeah, he'd be like, so, I used to love watching you play. I mean, I was too young for that, but you know what I mean.
LeBron lying about watching the Big Red Machine.
Yeah, like Big Red Machine, that was my favorite team, even though I was
I was born until 1987.
I was at a Guardians game yesterday, rooting for the Guardians.
How about that hair dye, Pete?
Least of his problems. All right.
Pete's in the news again, though. He's having a good week because of Shohei.
That's right. That's right. Getting a couple more autographs.
Yes.
How about EJ Zags? As they prep for their Sweet 16, they land one of the best players in the portal. Pepperdine transfer Michael Ajayi, the 6'7" wing, averaged 17 points, 9 boards this season. Free agent lefty Jordan Montgomery signing with the Diamondbacks, 1 year, $25 million. And hockey lovers like Pearl will certainly remember Coyotes great Shane Doan. His son Josh made his NHL debut last night for those same Coyotes.
Kesselring with a shot, battled away, blocker save, and a rebound, they score! And it might have been deflected, and guess who? It might be Josh Doan, my goodness.
Josh Doan scoring twice in his NHL debut, a 6-3 win over Columbus. Dad, of course, was there, presented his son with the puck from that first goal on TV on the postgame show. Guys, back to you.
Wow, I can't believe you didn't lead with Gonzaga getting a Pepperdine transfer. Big news. What? What was that about?
One of the biggest names in the portal. Yeah. While they're in the Sweet 16, they're getting ready for next year too.
By the way, West Coast Conference, some really good players coming out of non-Gonzaga schools in the NBA. Jalen Williams, we could have got him. Maybe we would have won a championship. Like, don't sleep on the WCC.
Yeah.
If you're going to give a transfer, it better be football next time. I do not care about some kid from Pepperdine going to Gonzaga. Sorry.
Or if a coach enters the portal, like Rick Pitino. He would be the coach that would enter the portal.
I could mention that Louisville apparently wants to hire Rick's son, since they can't hire Rick. So they're going to hire Richard Pitino.
Oh, there were people who brought up, well, if you fire Calipari, might as well bring him back. Bring back Pitino.
Oh, I was going to say,
Kentucky.
I was like, Calipari goes to Louisville? I wasn't sure what you meant by
that.
No.
If they had hired Rick Pitino, that would have been the greatest sports story of all time.
This is going to bring it all the way back.
Yeah,
I mean, we're all into 90s nostalgia these days.
Yeah. And Jamal Mashburn's son did enter the portal. That would have been interesting to me.
If
he went to New Mexico. What?
Gonzaga. You were letting EJ influence you with Gonzaga news. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
it's on the front page of 2 different major websites. College basketball was aware of this.
But he wants to know about a New Mexico transfer. Okay.
That's Jamal Mashburn Jr.
He's watched college hoops for 7 total minutes this year, EJ. What else should we expect?
855-212-4CBS. Bogish, thank you so much. We see you guys on the phones. You want to weigh in on many things. One, do you like the Christmas Day doubleheader for football? Lands on a Wednesday this year. I dislike it. Perloff loves it. You can tell us what you think at 855-212-4CBS. We also have our great debate question for this Wednesday, which we do every Wednesday. The most must-see baseball player of all time. You can hit us up. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff answering some major questions from the show. Number one, our great debate. Who is the most must-see baseball player of all time? That was our great debate question. And secondly, Doubleheader on Christmas Day, which falls on a Wednesday this year from the NFL. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let's go to Andy, who's in Michigan. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're doing excellent. What's up?
Excellent. So, great debate. I got the perfect one for both you and Perloff. This is the Shohei Ohtani of the 20s, Babe Ruth.
I know. The most must-see player. We thought about doing Babe Ruth, or at least I did, and I went with just a pitcher and Pedro Martinez. But here's a real question for you guys. If we saw Babe Ruth now, if we were transported back to the 1920s, whatever, to see Babe Ruth, do you think we would find him as impressive because now we see athletes who are huge, like bigger, stronger, faster? We're used to a certain type of athlete. Like if you've seen Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and Shohei Ohtani, do you think Babe Ruth would be like,
Well, yeah,
not as big as we think?
But the dude hit 60 homers.
Valid point.
Yeah, no,
but I think we've seen the homers. They're crazy.
Time, right?
Yeah, I disagree with that, by the way. I think he'd be more fun to watch than any of those guys.
But don't you even think if we watch the pitchers, they're not throwing 99-mile-an-hour cheese that back then?
Yeah, but they had breaking balls. I don't think it was that. And why was that no one else hitting homers? I mean, he beat the next guy by 40 homers.
That's true. What else you got, Andy?
I wanted to weigh in on the Christmas thing. NFL, you're just getting greedy. Stop invading my holidays. Like, Thanksgiving's great. I love it. But you know what? Hey, Christmas, it's the time I get to spend with my family. And chances are the toys that I bought my kid, she's going to want me to play with them. And by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're so freaking stuffed on food and bored with each other, we want to get out and do something. So, I mean, I guess maybe if your kids are older, I wouldn't be such a hater on this. But it's like, come on, guys, just give me my Christmas. And then I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, Andy, so not going to be tuning in. And again, the numbers are going to tell the story. I mean, we'll never get like actual numbers probably, but if it's significantly down from viewership, no, the NFL will get the hint.
What are you talking about? Are they expanding on Christmas big time?
No, but I'm saying if people like Andy don't tune in, and if he's, indicative of a lot of other people out there who aren't able to tune in, then the NFL will get the hint.
Yeah, he's not, and they're not. And because everyone's going to watch this game because everyone's sick of their family like me.
Richard's in Indianapolis. Hey, Richard, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing excellent. How are you, sir?
Fine. The left arm of God needs to be noted. Sandy Koufax. Mm-hmm. I grew up with Sandy Koufax, pitching 9 innings, not 2, not 3. Fastball, that hummed down the plate, scared batters. Sandy Koufax, a must-see.
Richard, thank you so much. And yes, Sandy definitely making the short list. There were a couple others that we tossed around that we have not heard yet. And the great debate question was the most must-see Major League Baseball star. Josh Hamilton? You love home runs.
I love home runs, but I mean, he's one of many great home run hitters. Why does he stand out over everyone else?
Pretty electric. Do you remember the All-Star? No. Do you remember the All-Star game where he crushed the record right before they basically in the last season of Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium? That was an electric moment.
Josh Hamilton over Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Jim Thome. I mean, there's a million Josh Hamiltons. But okay, I hear it. I didn't realize he stood out that much over everyone else.
Josh Hamilton, for a very brief moment, unfortunately for him, he didn't have the sustainability, but because of the other demons. But he was an exciting guy.
By the way, I have some Christmas Day view. You said if ratings start to slip.
Yeah.
Last year, Christmas Eve, $35 million for the Cowboys Dolphins. And Christmas Day, $29 million for Chiefs Raiders, $29 million Eagles Giants, and then $27 million 49ers Ravens. So ratings are not going to slip. No. I mean, the Giants Eagles game was not a good game last year, and that got $29 million.
Well, but again, you have a big market there.
I just think that they're doing fine. I think they're going to probably even do better on a Wednesday. This is going to be, it's not going anywhere.
Well, you're probably right about that.
I think a lot of people may put it on. I think you're not getting the kind of engagement people are watching the way. In fact, that Miami Dolphins game, we were at dinner. We went to a local restaurant in Lehigh Valley that night.
I saw the Cowboys game.
Yeah, and I saw the game on the screen. Oh, right, that game's happening. We didn't even think twice, and we're a sports family.
But it's still one of the highest rated games in recent memory. So you're saying, okay, yeah, they got the giant TV ratings, but people weren't paying attention the same way. That seems kind of thin. I mean, they're getting ratings, they're getting advertising dollars. This is going nowhere.
855-212-4CBS. Just gave you the number, but we are basically flat out of time. So we will have to update the cruising region of the Maggie and Perloff March Madness One-Hit Wonders bracket tomorrow, which has had so many good topics today. Our One-Hit Wonders had to take a bit of a backseat. So you can always go to @MaggieandPearl on Twitter if you'd like to vote. We have the round of 32 still up.
Yep.
For Turn It Up region, right?
Yep.
Do that tomorrow. And we'll bring you the results from the cruising region as well, because I know everyone was dying. You can't move on with your day without this information. The Maggie and Perloff One-Hit Wonders bracket. Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you to Peepelotti. Thank you to Andrew Bogish and Andrew Kaplan. We those coffee drinkers. You know who you are. We'll see you tomorrow.